Hi, welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and I know some of you, I already saw a little joke from my moderator, Ed, say, hey, look who decided to go live. And no, it seems like it's been a long time since I've been live on my show, but I am back from Assembly Required and all the other crazy stuff that I've been doing, and time to get back and do some live. So anyway, I'm not gonna waste any more time. Today I have a very special guest. I met this guy at Joe Fest this year. It is not Joe Fan 84. It is Joe Hunter 73. Wes, thank you very much for joining.
What's up? No, I'm not Joe Fan 84.
No.
But he's a good guy too.
I told I don't remember. Was it you that came up to us?
Mm-hmm.
It was you that came up, and we're like, I didn't get his name, and there's so many people.
Yeah, it was loud, and I think I had just got there. I might have been there at 15-20 minutes talking to Ronnie and Ronnie Trickshot and Shark Eyes, Adam and Aaron from Australia. I'm like, blew my mind that they made it. So that was a massive surprise. And talking to the podcast from the Pit Crew, Casey and Hillbilly, and meeting all those people.
We were in the restaurant.
Yeah, and the restaurant bar. And then I'm just like looking around, and I was like, oh, I know this guy. Oh, and I was like, oh, there's Punk right over there. You know what? I'm just going to go out of my way and say hi. And yeah, it was loud. And then as I was getting ready to walk away, you were like, oh, wait, here. And you gave me a sticker, which I got on the mug right there. So, but yeah, it was loud. And then, now, the joke continued as who was that? Who? Well, I've heard you and Tony, Tony with Tony's Figs talking about that later on that week.
We were like, dude, what was his name? And we're like, I think he said it was Joe Fan. And we're like, all right. And then the next day, I was either Tony or Ed that was like, I think it was Tony. He's like, that's Joe Hunter. I'm like, are you sure? And like, he has the shirt on.
He has the shirt on. I didn't have the shirt on that night though. So that was Thursday. Yeah, that was Thursday night. So
but we got the name. We got the first name right.
Yeah, so, Joe. Well, it's all good. Here we are.
Again, it's. I mean, I'll be that guy, I guess. When someone doesn't know who I am, that is a big G.I. Joe collector now, I'm like, do you not go on YouTube? And again, it's just because I'm all over the place. So it's like, I kind of expect people to see me. I am kind of a big deal. I wasn't a huge deal at Assembly Required. That would have made Ed happy. There's only a few people that came up to me that recognized me, including a little kid that knew who I was. That was pretty funny. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
No, again,
thanks for reaching out.
You support me again, so many other people, and that's what I tell everyone. The show is about people that have supported me one way or another. There's so many guys out there that they just want to talk to a bigger YouTube star or some content creator because they know it's going to, it's going to make, they think they're going to get their crowd, that they're going to get their fans. And it's like, man, why don't you talk to some of the people that support you? And
yeah,
my thing was always like, I'd be in Geek Dad Life or Toy Anxiety, and you see these people in the chat and you're like, what is their story? And then sometimes you find out they don't even have a YouTube channel and you think they're like this big YouTuber. So it's going to be great to talk to you. So anyway, let's say hi to the chat because we got 29 people. You remember what we said? You said, I asked you how you were doing. And you said, can't complain. I said, you can always complain. You said, who would listen? I'm like, well,
everybody in the chat.
A bunch of people would listen. So quickly, we got JRH jumping in. We got Same Time Toys. GI, bro, who has the best guns in the business, which you probably saw. The guy does not have sleeves, except when he travels. He said he wears sleeves because this is crazy. He goes, not everyone wants to sit next to somebody that is sleeveless and their armpits hanging out. I'm like, I have a lot of respect for that. Not everyone wants to be on a plane like that. Uh, Paul Morales. We have Evil Dookie jumping in here. We have Beta Ray Bob. And then let's see. I know there's other people. I hate what's done. I don't know if yours is showing it all the ads right now, but U.S. Combat Dojo. We have podcasts from the pit. Casey, I had to reach out to him. We were supposed to do a recording for Thursday. I did not schedule my time properly, so we're going to reschedule. The good news is there's 2 other holidays on a Thursday coming up, so we'll be able to do it in December, hopefully. SCS Dog joining us. Let's see here. We have Action Figs, that Toilet. That is, you keep changing your icon too much, Ed. I don't like it. Stop doing it. We have Shark Eyes, who you were just talking about earlier.
There
Machine
he is.
Man jumping in here. Menhuza, HK Viper. We have Yorktown Joe. I don't feel like I've ever seen you before, so
this guy's awesome.
Say, I don't think I've ever seen him, but
he's awesome.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
I just like to play it.
Yorktown's awesome.
That's good. I like to have awesome people in here.
Yeah.
We have Matthew Matson saying it's all about punk. I went and queued up. I went and queued it up. I'm gonna play it anyway. And yes, it is all about me. Viper Scout, who I'm sure you've probably seen once or twice before.
Oh yeah.
He is an O-ring guy. That guy is a wealth of knowledge that just kind of blows my mind at times.
Yep.
I think we've hit about everyone so far. That's we have Cooter's Garage, who I also did meet this weekend. Very interesting fellow, walking around with Cooters. I'll have to have him on just so he can tell his story of how he got his name. It's not about the Dukes of Hazzard, which is, I'm not sure if it's disappointing or shocking.
Interesting.
3-star draw, and that's about it. All right. And GI Jetman, don't want to miss you. I said, what's up, Lawrence, Wes, and Chat. All right. So let's just start off. And where does the name Joe Hunter 73 come from?
So 2018, I was trying to think if I wanted to get back into collecting Joe, and saw a lot of like Joe accounts on my personal Instagram feed, and they were all claim sales, right? And I was like, and it kind of baited me into doing a couple of claims, buying some Joes, and I was like, all right, I need a separate account for this. And I'm like, what? I don't know. I guess I'm hunting Joes, and it's Joe, and I was born in 73, Joe Hunter. And I was like, I'll try this for a while and see, and it stuck. So, very, very simple explanation there.
I'm not a fan of people that constantly change their name, unless if that's the running gag. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of pick a name that's easy for people to find you. And that's how people get to know you. And it's really weird, like, being at Joe Fest or anywhere, and people referring to me as punk. And it's like, I come from, I'm from a punk rock scene. So you wouldn't call someone punk because everyone would either turn around or nobody would.
Right.
But it's like, I hear it at a toy show, and it's, you're almost sure that they're talking to you.
Yeah.
We have Punisher Bill jumping in here. And then this one here, Sir Mark of the 509, which once again, I can't say that I've ever seen you. Quickly, so we get the
wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
He says, I got my son Leatherneck for his birthday, and oh my goodness, it's like having you in my living room, brother. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but thank you.
I don't know how to read that. I think that's good.
Not Rachel has joined us, and then we have
fellas.
Son of a Crayon Slayer. All right. Oh, and then Krusty Old Crow. I hate what they've done. and Steve Martin. This is gonna really
Hey,
make
the funny
really-
Steve Martin.
What was that?
The funny Steve Martin.
I like Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's good. No, he's good.
Although I watched The Jerk a couple years ago for like the first time, and I'm like, the guy has not aged. He looked like he was 80 then.
Yeah, he's
It-
aged well.
Yes, it goes along with my my Ric Flair, my Ric Flair feeling. If I look like Ric Flair in the late 80s and 90s, you look pretty bad. But the fact that he still looked the same in like 2010, like you look pretty good now. You
Mhm.
just had to wait it out. Yeah, Steve Martin, what he was gray in 81 for The Jerk, or not? Yeah, for
Mhm.
The Jerk. Like, man,
Yep.
and he looks the exact same. He's like the exact same. All right, so born in 73. Do you mind me asking about whereabouts were you born? What was your family life like? Did you have siblings? Were your parents together?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Kansas, small little town of about 2,000 people. Graduating class was 30.
Wow.
Yeah, so my entire high school was 160 total when I was in high school. It fluctuated, but it was right always around that part. But yeah, I have an older sister. She's 2 years older than me. Her birth date is the day before mine, which is kind of weird, but you know, but yeah, she's 2 years older. And yeah, my parents, my dad passed away back in 2021. But yeah, they were still together, and my mom is still up in Kansas. And you know, they growing up in a small rural. I always have a hard time saying that. Small
Rural?
country, yeah, rural.
If I can say it, you can say it.
Um,
If I can
But-
enunciate it, you can.
but yeah, growing up, you know, in a small area like that, you know, I think I didn't have a Toys R Us anywhere near me. It was 2 hours away. My parents weren't going to drive 2 hours to Wichita, Kansas to go to just Toys R Us. And so, you know, it was I would say low middle class is where we were at. So not a lot of money. But I took care of my toys for the most part. And a lot of my Joes that I have, 86 and 87, are still my originals. You know, and they provided, you know, during Christmas and birthdays, you know, stuff that, you know, just that we would always make sure that we had a great Christmas. And so I always keep that in my memory.
All right, two things. You said your sister's birthday is one day apart from yours.
Yeah.
Is it a November birthday?
July.
The only reason why I asked is I was talking to Tony's Figs today, and today is his sister's birthday.
Oh,
And tomorrow is his mom's birthday, but he was born, I think, November 9th is his birthday. So he's like, yes, we know what my parents were doing on Valentine's Day. So I was
right.
like, is that what it was?
Hey,
So-
hey.
Yeah, you said you got a lot of stuff. So anytime you went to Toys R Us, to you it was, you probably didn't go very often, but when
No.
you did go, it had to be an experience. Like,
So my first trip to Toys R Us was in 86, the summer of 86, and it was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was on vacation. That was my first.
You're kind of old at that time too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was 13,
Wow.
and
You remember it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I think Toys R Us was just like the weekend.
But no, I remember. So I picked up Serpentor and his air chariot, and this was in June, late June, early July of 86. And I was with my grandparents because my parents flew me out to Phoenix to spend basically 6 weeks out there with them, my sister and I. So they're like, what are some of the things you want to do? And I was like, I want to go to Toys R Us. That was all on my mind. And I ended up buying Serpentor. And then I bought the water moccasin, which was still available in stores, surprisingly, since that came out in 84. Probably just leftover stock. And which was great because the place we were staying at, you know, had a pool. And I still have that water moccasin, and that thing has a lot of chlorine play during that time when
That's
I
because
was
it
on
sank
vacation.
almost as soon as you put it in the
It
water.
did. It did.
I don't care what anyone says. Like, people argue with me. I'm like, there are like two things that I had that floated. One was the whale. That thing was almost impossible to sink. And the other one was the APC. That thing did not.
Yeah.
That thing. Now, a lot of people said the warthog, but I've never had the warthog. That was after my time. But I'm like, the devilfish sank. The landing, the night landing, sank.
Yeah.
The
Anytime
water
you put
moccasin,
anybody in it.
yeah, water moccasin sank. The shark literally was like this until it just did a nosedive, and the hydrofoil literally had holes on the bottom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that thing just went right down to the bottom. The whale, though, that thing was almost impossible to sink. So we're gonna get back to what you started off playing with, but I gotta ask you this because you brought up the first time you went to Toys R Us.
Mhm.
Again, it was probably a weekly. We probably went, at least once a month, if not twice. You're at home as a kid in Kansas, and you're seeing the commercials. Like, you have to be like, what is this? What is this magical place that just has toys upon toys? Like, what stories did you have? But what was it like seeing these commercials, knowing that, like, how do I find this?
Yeah. So we had Kmart, of course, before Walmart came in and pretty much shut down everything else. Not in my town, but 30 minutes, 45-minute drive to Hutchinson, Kansas, which is about a 40,000 population. So it's not too much bigger. Yeah, Kmart, and there's a place called Alco, which was kind of like just a general store. It had clothing, had food, it had hardware. And I want to say its umbrella company was like Duck Walls in the Midwest. Yeah, I don't know if any of these are ringing a bell.
No.
So that was a good place to get Joe's and Star Wars, before I got into Joe. And then of course KB Toys, because the Hutchinson Mall opened up, I want to say around 84. And seeing KB Toys was like, so that was kind of like, okay, I can't get to Toys R Us, I can get to KB Toys.
So you still have a toy store, even though, and at this point you don't realize how overly priced KB is because you don't know the price of Toys R Us.
Well, seeing the prices when Walmart would come in versus Kmart versus KB, and I was like, KB is like higher than any of those two, and then now I understand because they had to, they have a higher lease to pay for in a mall. So
doesn't it suck to know how things work and why it was now? Like, I just like complaining and being like, but if you take me across the street to Toys R Us, I can get 2 figures instead of 1.
Right. Yeah. It's and yeah, see it, like, I still have a few card backs with those stickers on them, they're not carded, they're just, the figures are all off, but some of my
from your childhood. Oh wow.
Yeah, my 87 and a couple of 86 that I didn't cut the file card off.
Okay.
I wish I wouldn't have done that on any of them, but the ones that are full that have that sticker on there that say, hey, KB Toys, like it was $3+ here at Walmart, it's $249.
Yeah, I remember $269 was the price for them at Toys R Us. Because I mean, it just rings about $269. Because we had Children's Palace too, which other people had Child's World, which was the exact same company. Like the facade was the exact same. It looked like a palace. They were written the same, but it was Child's Place one area, Children's Palace where I was at. Then again, we didn't have the internet, so we didn't know there was. So when I heard Child's Place, I think that's what it was called. I remember looking it up and like, that's Children's Palace, and then it makes you rethink like, Is that what it was called for me too? So okay, so you didn't really have any built-in. I mean, you had an older sister, but you
Yep.
didn't have any like real built-in play friends, correct?
No, it was being in the country. My next door neighbor was, a couple miles down the road over a field. And so, growing up, not having cable because I didn't live in town. Of course, back then, even if you lived in town, if you wanted cable, it would be a satellite dish the size of your house. Back then in the 80s. And
We had
so
we it's still there. I can't believe it. When we go to shows in Detroit, when we would get off the expressway, everyone would always point to this house. And again, it's Detroit, so a lot of them are just run down. Has this big black satellite. And I drive by it all the time getting off for jobs now, and it is still sitting. And I mean, it's
Wow.
rusting and it's collapsing. So anytime I hear someone talk about the big satellite dishes, that's that's what I think of, because that was that marking point that we knew that we got off on the right exit, and it's still
Yeah.
there. 40
Yeah.
years later, 30 years later.
Yeah. So I would meet people, my friends in school, and find out what's up, and find out like what they're into, of course, because we're always talking about what we got for Christmas or whatever. And during the Star Wars era, pre 82, before Joe, it was like, hey, I got the AT-AT for Christmas. I'm like, you son of a bitch, and yeah. So, or I
The
got the
AT-AT
Millennium Falcon, or I'm like, man,
the AT-AT commercial is still one of the greatest toy commercials ever. When he's crushing the Dixie cups.
yeah. And I
I
say
never
AT-AT, not AT-AT.
Thank you, because
Yeah.
right.
That's how I remember it from a kid. I called it that when I was a
It's in the
kid.
commercial. In the commercial,
Right.
it's an AT-AT.
Yeah.
I never heard anyone calling it AT-AT.
Why is it ATST? I was like, I don't know.
Because
Just
AT
go with
sounds
it.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never heard anyone call it the AT-AT till I was watching YouTube, and people kept.
Mhm.
I'm like, what the fuck's an AT? I'm like, you mean an AT-AT?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
AT-AT.
watching it. So I'm like, what? And then
Yeah.
I started asking people, and yeah, there's people that call it the AT-AT. I'm like, it's AT-AT. It literally
Mhm.
says it in the commercial. Why don't you call it the AT stuff? Well, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like, all right. So, as a little kid, like, do you remember the first toy? Do you remember like the first memory of your toy? What's the first memories? Not what you fell in love with. I mean, you
Yeah.
are a couple years younger than me, and I feel like it's Adventure People, Hot Wheels, or Matchbox. What
Yeah.
was the first thing you remember just like playing with?
It's probably going to be the and I still have like pictures that my parents took during the holidays. Definitely I had the Adventure People, that helicopter that came with the boat, the little yellow boat, and it had a little trigger that had a claw in the middle of it. Which I still have the boat. I don't have that helicopter anymore. But I definitely remember that. I remember the Fisher Price garage, where where you crank up and it made a little ding, 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 and those cars would go up. That and that Fisher Price castle. So
Okay.
that castle was pretty cool because I always integrated that later in my youth into that was the Cobra Castle, even
Oh,
though
wow.
the size didn't really work, but still, imagine, you just got to use your imagination.
We had
But
imaginations back then.
yes, we did. Trying to think, definitely had lots of Hot Wheels. And I'm trying to think of what I had before Star Wars. I had a race car track that I got for Christmas. I was probably 4 or 5.
Like the slot cars?
Yeah, I mean, you pull the trigger and they zip
Yeah.
around. It's this one was Matchbox. I just recently found out it was a Matchbox one, and I had a bridge that teeter-tottered, which is
Yeah.
weird. And it was a cop car and I think a Corvette or something. And on the cop car, when you pull the
sounds-
trigger, the lights,
Lights went on.
yeah, it was a light underneath and it just lit up. It didn't like, flash or anything, but yeah. So I remember getting that. And being on the farm, I had a lot of Tonka. And I had the big Tonka truck and that big Tonka, that crane, and the we call it a road grader because it grades the roads out in the country, but some people call it an excavator, whatever that is. The castle, I understand. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
hideout, awesome for Joe and Star Wars.
Yes, and on the top, and I don't know what you call them on those castles when they go all the way up but there's a trap door that would the figure would fall down into the dungeon. So Star Wars and Joe figures definitely fit through that.
Yeah, He-Man, you weren't going to.
But yeah, I had a lot of Tonka, and then of course the Ertl big tractors. Being on the farm, I had a lot of farming toys, which were really cool when you really look back at it, because it made you get out and play in the dirt.
You could put. I think every kid of our era, our generation, wanted to have the cranes that could pick up and dump rocks into the dump truck, because
yes,
those ones, again, first off, were much smaller and weighed a lot less. You put your weight on it and you were pushing those dump trucks everywhere because the wheels were this big.
mm-hmm.
You weighed 40 pounds,
whatever. Yeah,
but they had a steel shaft going through it. It took time before that started to bend.
Yeah. Oh, I tried to break it later, like when I was in my teens. I tried to break it, but they actually still survived to where it's up in my mom's garage, because my nephews, when they were little, they played with all that stuff that I had. So it got handed down to my nephews. Even that crane with the string's still attached and everything. Now it's all tangled up, but good luck with that.
That's when toys survived, right?
Oh yeah, you had to get a tetanus shot with those toys.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at those dump trucks and it's like, is this what a dump truck was really made out of? I mean, you didn't have to worry about it. And it's one of those things where if it got beat up, you never saw a nice clean dump truck.
No.
They were supposed to be beat up.
Yep.
We weren't keeping things mint in package. Thank God.
Yeah.
So
Thank God we didn't know that back then.
I kind of wish my dad did. I kind of wish my dad did, and he could have just bought stuff and like
buying twos.
I still think
to open.
I can remember my dad saying, we were at Toys R Us and he goes, I wanted a G.I. Joe figure, and he goes, well, you could get 3 of these figures, pointing to Star Wars, or you get one of those. I'm like, I don't want those, because they were $1 each. They had end caps, $1. I'm just thinking, like, you think of that end cap, and it's like, if my dad would have just bought them all, put them in a bin, and then 30 years later was like, here you go.
Here you go.
Oh, hey, good. I can send the kids to college. I can pay off my house. I can buy a new car.
Yeah,
But
right.
we had no idea, right? And we had no idea we had no idea what toys were going to be. And that's why there were so little today, like the new figures, which is perfectly fine by me, right?
Yep.
People that are still collecting and they're like, do you think this is going to be worth money? It's a classified. And you're like, no. I mean, it'll be worth like $5. So I guess technically that is money, but it's not going to be worth what you paid for it. Some of it will be, but very little. Invest in something else. If that's your retirement.
Right.
So what was the first toys? Do you remember like the first toy that you fell in love with? Like the first brand?
Lego.
Really?
Because I want to say it was I got Lego before I got Star Wars, and I got those space Legos, and yeah.
I what can I say? I needed sailors for my flag, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, Space Lego for me was I don't know, the box art on that was really cool, the way it was set up with the space background. And not long after that, it was definitely Star Wars because seeing the movies, and I don't think I actually saw Star Wars in 77 because I would have been 4 unless I
Yeah.
saw it after July, and then I would have been 5. So I do know that they did, re-release Star Wars in 78 back into the theaters, maybe even 79 before Empire, just to,
Yeah.
ramp it up. George knew what he was doing back then. And
Yeah.
so I definitely saw it one of those years and totally fell in love with it. And then, that opened the door to the Star Wars toys.
And you were prime. Like for me,
Right.
yeah. I mean, I was born in 75, at the end of 75. So yeah, I come into it, and yeah, we all know what Star Wars is. But like it wasn't the beginning. My son was like, what was it? My son the other day, a few months ago now, he says to me, he said, what was it like the first time you saw Darth Vader? Like the Darth Vader showed up on screen. I was like, I don't know. He goes, was it like as scary as they make it out to be? I'm like, well, I guess he's very menacing. And he's like, yeah, but what was it like the first time you saw it? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, like when you were at the movie theater and you saw it. And I go, how fucking old do you think I am? I go, it came out in 77. I was born literally 4 days or 3 days before 76. I don't remember it because I remember seeing Jedi. I don't remember seeing Empire or Star Wars, and I probably did.
You're the Ewok era.
Jedi is still my favorite. My favorite one. I don't think it's the best one. I think it's Empire, but it's still my favorite one. And I have no problem with the Ewoks. Maybe they shouldn't have just dispatched of the stormtroopers as easily as they did, but hey,
it's fine.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
they're little fluff balls. And I had a little Shih Tzu, which kind of looked like one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars really, so back to the Lego thing. Legos were expensive even for back then.
Yes.
And, you go through those catalogs, JCPenney catalogs, that have for the holidays and stuff, which I'm doing my current videos. That's what I'm doing those on, just kind of strolling back through the years. And you see the prices of Lego.
Quickly, hold on. In the description is a link to his YouTube and Instagram. So please go over, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Continue on.
But yeah, so looking at those prices back then on Lego, I'm like, well, no wonder why I didn't get that many. You want a Lego set that's $15-$20 in the 70s, or a figure that's barely $2, from Star Wars, and my parents didn't even ask. They just gave it to me. That's what they were giving me. But it was a tradition, like Christmas Eve. They would have, if anyone's kids are watching that are, of age of Santa belief, earmuffs, but, so they would have a friend dress up as Santa come over, and he would give my sister like a Barbie, and he would give me a little miniature, like a Lego thing, right? Something that was very, very inexpensive for Lego. And, he would give us a couple of gifts Christmas Eve. And then, so I'd always get Legos on Christmas Eve. So they weren't the real big sets or anything like that. I do remember one year, I think it was the year I got it was after Empire, because I have a photo of it. I'm playing with the Imperial probe droid.
Okay.
And that came with the turret. And in the background of that picture is a Lego box with the red semi on there. And that was a really big set, because that was the set where you can, like, the main feature was the semi, but it had other pictures of what you could build it. Now, did the instructions say that? No. It just had the instructions for the semi.
Not Rachel says the real Santa wouldn't visit your house.
Aw.
Your parents had to pay someone to act like Santa.
wa-
'cause you
it
guys were
was-
that bad.
It was a friend because after Santa would distribute gifts, they would sit there drinking. So, it was they had a good time. It was basically a neighbor down the road, one of their friends.
So it's Star Wars. You fall in love with Star Wars. I'm not going to
Mhm.
ask why you fell in love with Star Wars because I think it's a better.
It was right in
question
front
if
of our
someone-
face.
Yeah, it's a better question if someone doesn't love Star Wars to say, "Hey, what didn't you love about Star Wars?" They had swords, but they lit up. they had
Yeah.
lasers. They had. I mean, again, to me, it's
Space
still the
opera.
greatest. Yes, it's the greatest saga of all time. I
Mhm.
know. I know. Right now, Matthew is frantically typing out Lord of the Rings, but he's wrong. It's still Star Wars. It's what really kicked everything off
Mhm.
for our generation. I think most people would agree. So Star Wars comes,
Mhm.
and we all know what happened to Star Wars. The swivel arm battle grip.
Right?
So did you fall in love with G.I. Joe? And what about like He-Man, Transformers? What other things were you
Mhm.
interested in?
My first, so yeah, I definitely fell in love with Star Wars whenever I was gifted the short fuse was my first Joe. I can't remember though if he was swivel or just straight arm. But he still had more articulation than Star Wars figures did. What's Joe Era say here?
Remembering Roddy Piper handing Heenan his ass over ruining the Santa thing. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube.
I'll have to look that up. I love old
Yeah,
school
I kinda
wrestling like
remember
that. But yeah, so Short Fuse was my entry to GI Joe. I just don't know if it was in 82 or 83. I do know that I did not want any figures from Star Wars from Return of the Jedi other than Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight in black. He was really the only figure I wanted. There you go.
Forces power.
Power of the Force too.
Which I love. I don't care.
Well,
I
that
mean-
was after they toned down. That was the green. Was that a green card with the
Yeah,
green
oh, yeah.
lightsaber?
Yeah,
that was wave 4 or something.
Oh
It was
yeah, yeah.
like
That's
80,
when they. Yeah, that's
97.
when Luke got off the steroids.
Yeah,
And he had to just rely off his Jedi skills to fight.
yeah. No, that was a good look too. I liked He-Man. I just wasn't ever given any figures. I watched the cartoon. I think
Which is a hard watch today. It is. I tried watching with my kids, and they were like, "I don't want to watch this," and I was like, "I don't blame you."
yeah, it's some of the GI Joe episodes, and I'm talking about the Sunbow. Some of those are still kind of a hard watch. I'm like, wow.
Believe me, I feel Transformers is the one that actually. Transformers, I think, is the best of all of them.
Okay.
Which hurts because I want it to be G.I. Joe, but it's not. The He-Man, like I remember He-Man and Masters of the Universe so fondly, but I've tried watching it like in the past decade, and you're like, wow, that's bad. But we can watch it because it brings back memories.
Yep.
But like I try and put myself and my kids, like looking through my kids' eyes, and you're like, yeah. I don't blame you for leaving, right?
Yeah. It was it was on because it was on TV.
Yeah.
Just like I remember the Rambo cartoon being on in the mornings before I'd go to school. And I wish those were the scale of GI Joe, but they weren't. So it just, even back then I'm like, I don't want that because it's not the scale of 3 3/4. It's not the Lord scale.
You mean classified scale?
No, that's not the Lord scale. To each his own.
I agree.
But yeah. And then I love the Transformers. Again, too expensive for my family to buy. And I had a friend that had Transformers, and he had Transformers and Mask. And I really enjoyed the Mask cartoon. I liked the vehicles. I just didn't like the figures. They just, again, they were, very bare, no articulation hardly. Helmets were too big. But I definitely, that IROC, come on. It's the 80s. Who didn't want that IROC?
High school, where I live is very, there's a lot of Caladians and Italians and burnouts, and that's the one car that could cross over between all those groups.
It brings everybody together.
Beta Ray Bob says, sadly, Knight Rider didn't age well either.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. A lot of that 80s stuff didn't age all that well, but it's still very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Maybe not for our kids. Like, why is our car talking?
Centurions was another toy line that was late mid 80s. I want to say like 85, 86. I don't know, something like my dad had a hard no on that when I asked him. I was like, I want a couple of Centurions, and because when you put them all together, like one of them was a jet, and I was thinking in my mind how I can introduce that into my Joe universe of that they can. This is some technological like thing that's come out from somewhere that the Joes can use to battle Cobra. But he put a hard no to that. So it was still my G.I. Joes fighting the Empire and Cobra.
Did you have a problem mixing Star Wars with G.I. Joe?
I never did. No.
Okay.
So I never had a Cobra Commander until 87. The Battle Armor Cobra Commander. And so I wasn't into the comics. I never got the comics as a kid. I didn't get the comics until I started collecting again. So I didn't know technically, well, that's not Battle Armor Cobra Commander, that's Fred 7. I was like, well, to me, it's Cobra Commander because that's all I knew. And it said it on the package. So before I got Cobra Commander, any cool Cobra that I got would be the leader. So when I got the Hiss driver was the leader. Because at that time I only had an officer and a trooper. So, and then I got the Stinger. And I was like, okay, this Stinger driver, he's fucking cool. So I'm going to go, the Stinger driver's my leader now. And then Wild Weasel. And then Strato Viper. So, and then
wow, you were just making army builders in charge of your Cobra. No wonder why they kept losing.
So they would always work with the Empire. And, I would always, I had that Death Star play set. And sadly, the only thing I have left of that is the garbage, whatever, the orange thing. But so I definitely introduced G.I. Joe and Star Wars together. That's all I had to work with.
I could never do that. Like trying, and I had the snow speeder. I didn't have anything else. But if someone would bring over like the X-wing, it could not go on the aircraft carrier. It is so distinct of what both were that I'm like, that doesn't belong there. And I know the other people were like, you had no imagination. It's like, it's not that I didn't have an imagination. It was like Star Wars to me was so damn distinct on what it was.
The two worlds can't collide.
Yeah. Kind of like people that can't let their food touch on their plates. So as you start getting older and you go from like did you go from elementary school to middle school, or was everything like one big school?
Yeah, it was weird. So it was elementary school was basically, they throw in kindergarten there, but K through 4.
Okay.
Our middle school was 5th and 6th grade, which was in a different town like 8 miles away. It was in a town of only 500 people, and it's where the school where my mom went to high school at. So it used to be a high school. So that was our middle school, 5th, 6th grade. And then I had junior high, which was 7th and 8th. And then our big ass high school of 160 students.
So you had 4 different. So yeah, wow, that's weird. Because our
Yeah.
middle school is considered junior high, and that's
Okay.
6 through 8. So it's kindergarten through 5th, and then 6 through 8, and then your high school.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's small
And
town there.
yeah. So at what point do you see yourself like not telling people? Because I always say like in middle school, and for us that's like 6 through 8, we're all still playing with toys, but we don't let anyone know. And then come to find out
Mhm.
10, 20 years later, hey, we were all still playing with toys. Did you have a time that you were no longer playing with toys?
Yeah, it really changed. 87 was my last year. I got some of the 87 figures. I didn't get all of them, and only like a couple of vehicles. I can go either way on that.
I told you he's frantically typing it out.
If
I think it'd come faster than it did. Maybe
if Star Wars didn't do anything after Return of the Jedi, that'd be a real solid argument right there.
again, I'm talking about 4 through 6. That's what
Right.
molded all of us.
Yeah. But yeah, so 87 was my last year. And it was like I was the first part of 87, I was let's see, I was getting out of 7th grade. And that was like you're sitting there and you're like, all right, do I want people to see me buy toys? And I started to have that feeling, that pressure, because I got involved in sports, and wanting to get involved with girls, and we're all maturing at that time. And I remember in 7th grade, I would sit there like in civics class doodling Conquests, the X30.
Yep.
And the girls were like, what's he doing? And whatnot. But I think I had one other friend that was still buying Transformers at the time, because I knew a bunch of people that went and saw the movie in 86.
I did.
And when I saw the G.I. Joe movie on TV, I asked some people about it, and they're like, you still watch that? I was like, well, I just was flipping, and just kind of came upon it. But so yeah, 87 was my last year. So going into 8th grade, it was I boxed them up, put them in a tote in my closet, and it was like every weekend I would get them out, right? And make sure that if I had friends come over, then I was like, all right, I'm putting everything away. It's only sports and posters of girls on my walls.
So no comics or anything like that. You didn't shift to anything like that. It was just pure sport.
Yeah, pure sport. Yeah, I subscribed to SI, and yeah, all sports all the time.
As you go into high school, you're playing like, what sports are you playing?
So football was the main sport. Played a little bit of basketball, and then track. We didn't have baseball. It was too small of a school.
Hey, you didn't. Hey, you don't have enough to. How would you do football?
Well,
7 on 7?
No, I mean there's
combined.
So we're still, everyone's going to take this the wrong way, but we played both ways. So yeah, we played both ways because we didn't have enough on to have offense and defense. So we definitely, by the time my sophomore year, I was starting on special teams and would sub in on defense. And then my junior and senior year, I never came out of the game. So, and then I went to play 2 years of college, and that was a completely different mindset, to where we hardly conditioned during practice because they expect you to come into shape already. And it was just scrimmage. And, I was a linebacker, and that's all I played other than special teams. Like, I didn't have to worry about anything else. So I actually enjoyed high school football more than I did my 2 years of college. And it was a very small college. It was NAIA.
Oh, but you did it. Like, I mean, you went on and you did that. So
Yeah.
So obviously you're playing football and everything, chasing girls, as I think some of us. I know I didn't. I was too busy riding a stupid skateboard. I'm just kidding. It's not a stupid skateboard. It's great. So obviously you graduated because you went on to college. Who was your favorite football player? I meant to ask that.
Growing up in Kansas, you would think it'd be like the Chiefs or something, but the Chiefs sucked in the 80s. And my team growing up was the Cowboys. And Danny White, Tony Dorsett, and Drew Pearson were the original triplets in my book before that term was even thought of. And then right when toward the end of high school, that's the Jimmy Johnson era, and the Cowboys had that rebirth. And yeah, my favorite it's probably Troy Aikman. Just yeah, Troy's he's a good guy. A lot of people don't like his commentating, but I dig him. I think he's cool. Troy and Emmett were my favorite.
So just so you know, people like you are the reason why the Cowboys suck, because you don't give the owner credit. You talk about everyone else, but you did not bring up the owner at all. And that's why he continues to do what he does.
Yeah.
And it's true too. That's the saddest part.
That fucking owner.
Jerry Jones would rather be the star than that team be good.
Right. And technically it's always in the media. So he is. It's the most valued, or whatever it is, franchise every year. So he wins, and that's all he cares about.
Yeah,
that's all he cares about. He got his 3 Super Bowls back in the 90s, and
he doesn't like the fact that he didn't get credit for it.
Right. Yeah. It's sickening. So I don't wrap myself around games like that anymore like I used to. And I actually, there's a saying where it's kind of like, it's always enjoyable to watch a train wreck. And usually when, like, the Packers Cowboys playoff game several years ago, when Cowboys went in as a 1 or 2 seed, they had a bye. Or no, they beat Tom Brady, and then they're playing the Packers. And the Packers just blew them out. And I was like, I was sitting there laughing. I wasn't even mad. I was like, this is Jerry. This is all Jerry, just right here on the field.
Yep.
So
I don't know what Tony's figs is. I mean, Tony's last name is Tony Romo, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't, and I didn't realize. Like, it was funny because I'd never met the guy before, and Travis Moody had asked me to come on the show. And so I'm texting him back and forth because he's asking questions. And it was a Patriots game, which Moody is from Boston. And I said something about having to watch Tony Romo. And I go, dude, that's awful. And I'm like, sorry you have to watch. I'm like, sorry you have to listen to Tony. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, Tony Romo's the worst. And he was like, he goes, dude, don't be talking about one of our guys. I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, what? I'm like, the game. And he was like, oh, I thought you were talking about Tony's figs. And he goes, he's an actual Cowboy fan. I thought he was joking. Come to find out that Tony's dad was actually, he's not from Dallas, but he's a a Cowboy fan, so that Tony is. So Tony will actually try and tell me that Tony Romo was like a great quarterback. I'm like, he was like as average as can be. If he didn't play for Dallas, people would think that he sucks. The same way people thought Matthew Stafford sucked when he played for the Lions, even though he didn't.
I don't mind Tony Romo. I really don't. He didn't bother me as much as a lot of people around me at the time did. He was basically a little bit lesser. He was a lesser version than Brett Favre. I mean, that was Tony's idol. So he played like Brett. He made some mistakes, as a lot of quarterbacks do. For the
you mean in the worst time ever?
Going to Cabo bye week before your divisional round against the Giants in 2007. Yeah, that was a big mistake, Tony. Yeah.
What do you think of him as a commentator?
I can't stand him now.
Thank you.
He makes too much. So I grew up, of course, with Pat Summerall and John Madden. They didn't talk a whole lot. John Madden would get animated with his, oomph and, just his pops and stuff and his sound effects. Tony just needs to shut up. He makes too many weird sounds during the game. I don't seriously. What are you doing? And somehow Chris Collinsworth is taking lead on that, and he does the same thing now too. So there's a lot of annoying announcers out there that just really need to button up and go back to old school.
You're not supposed to be what people are known for. It's the game. You're just supposed to kind of tell what's going on in the game. And a lot of people can't do that.
Give a little insight, as a color commentator will do, but don't sit there and
you ever listen to Dan Patrick?
Former ESPN guy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
His own radio show. The one guy does a perfect Tony Romo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll say we'll get off this. I know people hate sports ball. Everyone was talking about how great Tony Romo is. Like when he first started commentating, and they're like, he knows exactly what's going to happen. And people are like, yeah, because he just retired. So he just was playing against these people. So he knows their tendencies.
Those first 2 years, he was okay.
Yeah.
He was
give it 5 or 10 years. When he doesn't know what these people are doing, will he still be as good? And I think everyone is seeing it. It's like, yeah, you can only ooh and all and act like you're like getting like the hardest massage ever.
Yeah.
I hear him and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awful.
Yeah.
So you do graduate. You said you went on to play a couple years of college football.
Yep.
And you said you really didn't like that because it was just
dominated. Like I had no social life being in a football program in college, even if it was a small time college. It was, once the season was over, you're back in the weight room, either at 5 in the morning, or if you don't do it at 5 in the morning, then you got to do it in the evening. And then, So, and if you do work out in the morning, which a lot of us chose to do, we still had, what was it called? Like, I don't know, plyometric stuff, stretching or something.
Yeah.
In the evening in the off season, and then spring, we didn't do spring practices like most colleges do now, bigger colleges. But yeah, it just dominated social.
I agree with you 100%, Evo Dookie. He's as good as a commentator as it was quarterback. Dumpster fire. So, did you graduate college? And what did you go to school for?
I did not graduate college, so got out of that. I went to college for generic business communication.
Okay. And now you're doing YouTube.
Hated it. Yeah.
Then you went, God, I can do YouTube. Man, anyone can do this. I didn't need that. So would you decided to I don't like saying drop out of school because you graduated high school. You decided to stop going to
Mhm.
college. Did you go right into the workforce?
I did.
Okay.
So got out of college, financial kind of stuff hit. Dad had a heart attack. My mother wasn't working, so I kind of had to, I was still living with them. And so I was like, well, I need to kind of provide and help out a little bit. So I, yeah, got a contractor job,
Okay.
next town over, as a contractor for a construction company, and we basically were the paint crew back then. So painted homes.
Okay. So
But
you started
I
going
did
to
have
school.
what's that?
No, go on.
I was going to say my first job. So my first job when I was going into 7th grade, and I had a lot of like summer jobs before that like farmers would come and pick us up, or somebody would pick us up and take us to a field and just pull weeds.
I didn't know you were Mexican.
Yeah, pull weeds for $3 an hour. But well, minimum wage was $3.25 then. So, but my first actual job where they took taxes away from me, I was working on a hog farm. My 8th grade year, and I worked there for 3 years when I was
And what did you do?
anything. Seriously,
Is
anything
that where
on a
they
hog
slaughtered?
farm.
Do they slaughter
No,
them there? Or
no.
okay.
They
I was gonna say that's a really rough thing for a kid.
no. So well, I did some pretty rough stuff there. So part of like one of my jobs was, like I said, I did everything, anything and everything, to where if a sow, which is a female pig that's
Yep.
giving birth, you take all the pigs or piglets, and this is, you got to cut their teeth, cut out a couple of notches depending on what week they're born in, of what cycle, and it's basically a code when you cut them in their ear. And then you got to cut their tail off if they don't have if it's a female piglet and they don't have enough tits. You got to cut their tail off so it'll be a feeder pig. If they have enough tits, then that thing's going to become a sow. Some knowledge there for you. And then as those pigs grow up, we move them from one barn to another until they're fat enough to be shipped off to a slaughterhouse. So,
And bacon.
And bacon. Now,
I'm sorry.
we also had to take care of the runts that weren't going to make it. And one day one of the foremans comes over to me, and he's like, hands me a gun, and I'm like, what am I doing with this? He's like, there's 5 runts in that pen over there. You got to go take care of them. I was like, what? So had to do that, tie him to the truck, haul him down to a ditch, and put lye on him, or whatever that white stuff is, and then bury him. So I was going into my freshman year as a kid. That's what I was doing. That's life on a farm.
And they handed
growing
you a
up.
gun.
Yep. Handed me a pistol.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
But again,
You think they do that still today?
I hope not. I
don't
hope they don't
know.
give kids guns. I think that's part of our problem with some of our schools.
Yeah, I'll never
That's
forget
awesome.
that.
The girl I used to date, she had a daughter, and she was in Girl Scouts, and I'll never forget this. We're at this Girl Scout thing, and they have a police officer there, a female police officer, and they're like, someone like the girls are asking questions, and someone asked, have you ever had to pull your gun out? And she goes, She said, "Have you ever pulled your gun out of someone?" And they're like,
I
"No."
got a gun.
But sometimes, every now and then, you'll see a deer that gets hit on the side of the road, and you have to take it out and kill it.
Hmm.
And every parent was sitting there going, like, these are like little like 9-year-old girls, and we're like, you didn't have to go there. You did not have to go there. All right, so note to self: don't go work at a pig farm. Uh,
Yeah.
sounds awful. So you get into the working force, and you said you're helping your parents out with everything, correct?
Yeah, for about a year or two.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, at this point, are you collecting anything? Are you just dating women? I mean, are you
Yeah.
into any type of collecting?
So 95 comes around. It's right when I pretty much got out of school. 95, 96, but 95 comes around, and yeah. And Power of the Force 2 comes out. Bulky He-Man figures of Star Wars. And yeah,
That
Muscle Man
muscle
Darth.
right there.
Yeah, look at that muscle. Super 7 needs to take a note of Power of the Force 2. Put some definition on them arms.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, Big Lob needs to do some weights or something. But yeah, so I started collecting Power of the Force 2 in 95, and
Okay.
got back into Star Wars. Put a subscription into Star Wars Insider magazine, seeing all the news that Lucas is starting to redo the original trilogy.
Yep.
That's the only way we could get leaks of buying those magazines, or going into Walden Books and looking through that stuff. If you weren't going to buy it, just reading it there, and like, oh, he's gonna relaunch these movies in theaters, so here comes that toy line. And so went heavy into that all the way till about 2008, and figures and the vehicles, because I never really had too many vehicles of Star Wars. I had like the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing. That's all I had.
Okay.
And a couple of the like the Imperial Hoth base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now those could be used for G.I. Joe easily.
Oh yeah, they were. They were.
You see, I had the snow speeder, and I had the Star Destroyer, which I had no idea that it was a Star Destroyer. I don't remember getting it. It wasn't until years later. I just thought it was like some sort of
triangular.
set. Yeah. Even though you could fly it by holding it, which is actually pretty genius, that like it has a handle and then the two other legs set in between so it wouldn't just like fall off.
Yeah.
But it had a trap door.
Even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's not a Star Destroyer. So,
but I did know that's where Darth Vader's where he sat, where his chamber was.
Meditation, yeah.
But it never dawned on me, because I don't remember the big laser gun like that we would take off and use as a real gun.
Yep.
So I was kind of the same way. Like Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighter, X-Wing, all that stuff. I never got the AT-AT though. And that's when I kind of kicked myself not getting.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I eventually ended up getting one through the Power of the whatever the wave that was, when that came back out, and there he is.
Yep, finally.
Just got done talking about Tony Romo.
Yes, and how bad he is as a commentator.
Yes. Commentator, yes. Player, I thought he was okay. Anyway. We discussed that already.
Average. Exactly. He was average. He was slightly above average.
Anyway. I thought it was cool. So that was the first time I was able to get the Millennium Falcon when they re-released it, because I never had it as a kid. So, it was but yeah, I went full in, and thankfully Power of the Force 2, the waves became more and more better and better as it went. Once the prequels came out, once I saw the movie, I didn't want those figures.
Really?
The Phantom Menace was like, you know what? Didn't really care for that movie. I don't want these figures. I didn't really like the way it was packaged. Didn't like just didn't. Now, for some reason, I got back into Power of the Jedi came out before Attack of the Clones, I believe. So I got back
Okay.
into it that way. Power of the Jedi, those figures were actually a lot more detailed.
Yeah.
Was it Hasbro at the time? Did they already have?
Yeah.
It was Hasbro.
Yeah, they owned it by then.
Okay.
They owned
So
Paramount.
yeah, so they were finally figuring it out. I mean, it takes Hasbro years to figure stuff out, but nowadays. But I guess they probably heard from letters they were getting or emails at that time. There weren't online blogs yet. So Attack of the Clones, one of my first times I went to Walmart had, and I have no idea how word got around, but like, hey, they're stocking the aisles now. And it was midnight, and they're going to do a midnight opening at Walmart. And
Yep.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna, I had a Walmart right up the road because I was already in Texas now at the time, when Attack of the Clones came out. So yeah, I went to, and people were just like, just raking them off the pegs and dumping them into the cart. And then you'd have a couple of here, like seeing if there was one that was an alternate. I'm like, dude, just get the figure and get out. It's like, you know what? That guy's looking at that figure now. He's like, well, the one that's not an alternate is still worth $5, and the one that's an alternate is 10.
I tell you what, those Power of the Force, I said it before. Hey, look, here's your alter ego.
Hey, there he is.
Fan 84. There's your doppelganger.
What's up, Joe Fan?
I was all like the Power of the Force. I had the long saber, the short saber in the long saber tray. I had Jedi Luke with the gray. I mean, I went hog wild. And you know how much those are worth now? About as much as I paid back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like, and there's so many of them out there. It's like you walk into a toy store that's selling that stuff, and that's what's like, they're everywhere.
Okay, so quickly, Beta Ray Bob says, yes, Hasbro is slow. It only took them 40 plus years to put ball psychic hips in Star Wars figures, even after G.I. Joe. You cannot blame them because Kenner owned it. Kenner was the one that did it. So you can't blame them for 40 plus years. They weren't doing it. It was Kenner. All right, so you said the Power of the Force. Did that lead to anything else?
No, it was Star Wars. Just
That was it.
all
no
in.
Spawn.
Yeah,
Like you don't see Spawn, and you're not like,
yeah. I never got into it. I'd go to what was that called in the mall? Because I was at the time when Attack of the Clones came out, I was working in a mall.
okay,
and I was working for that store called Brookstone.
okay, I remember them.
It's like Sharper Image, just different. Basically, their competitor.
But like a $7,000 chair that massages your back.
Why buy it when I had to work there and I could just sit in it? But no one being able to get to know the manager at KB Toys there was great, because he would tell me like when they would get a shipment in, or hey, our shipment's coming in, we're doing see, they didn't do a midnight opening, they did like an an 8 a.m. because the store would open up at 10. So, hey, we're going to open up at 8. Line out of the store, you know, and I was like the second or third in line. Yeah, for I want to say this was for the, well, I think it was still Attack of the Clones. I think it was like one of their other waves that they would have come out. So, yeah.
So okay, so you get back into collecting, but just the
Yeah.
Star Wars Power of the
Star Wars
Force.
only. Mhm.
You never let it lead you anywhere else.
No, I mean, one, I'm adult now, and I was married and had 2 step kids. I don't have any kids of my own because I'm still a fucking kid, and we all are. And
Someone's kid.
yeah, so, but gave me a good excuse, like, take the little one down the toy aisle. Let's go get some toys, and I can also hunt myself. And I remember buying him, like, for Christmases, the Pirates of the Caribbean toy line. Trying to think what else. I was so focused on Star Wars, and I got him into Star Wars, so he got more into the Clone Wars and the TV series. So he's more into those toys. That they sculpted that line a little bit more to the cartoon.
So you got married,
Mhm.
and you're not a collector, correct?
When I got married, so I got married in 2003.
Okay.
My first wife, and I was still kind of collecting at the time. So remember, 1995, I got into the Power of the Force, and I was not so much Phantom Menace, but right back into it with Attack of the Clones. Then I got married, and she knew about it as we were dating, because before we'd go to a movie, I'd go to Target or Walmart,
That's what I was trying to figure out. How did, like, I've heard some people that they're married and then they started collecting, and it's like, so how do you explain that? How do you explain that to your wife or your girlfriend? Like, oh, hey, I have all this extra money. I want to start buying toys.
Yeah.
But if you're already a collector, it's like, how do you explain it? How do you bring them in? Whether you're collecting plates or
Anything.
CDs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Collecting is an addiction.
Sports memorabilia. I mean, that's a big time thing too. It's
that's a gamble there too.
Yeah. No, they would see it, like I would have it like on my desk or something, just figures displayed and stuff. And just, knowing that I'm not just a sports jock, I'm a nerd too. So they got that. So yeah, but right around 2008, I just I think because they just kept releasing the same figure, different packaging in a different scene. And I was like, I'm not really into it that much anymore. Like, I already have 18 Lukes, 18 Hans, I don't need to army build these guys because they're not army builders. So what, so that time goes by, and that was my first wife. Second wife comes in as we're dating.
Oh wait, you did get rid of the first wife before you got the second one, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Years.
Okay.
So like this is we started dating in 2016. So my first divorce was 2013. So
your first divorce. So that means a second divorce?
Yep. My second divorce happened this year.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Back in February. So Joe Fest was a huge like I don't know, good therapy session of just to get out and be with everybody. So yeah, Joe Fest felt amazing to be there and to be with everyone that I see on YouTube and hang out and be called Joe Fan 84 and stuff. And
it happens.
I know it was loud, but my second wife, We were actually both collectors. She liked Wonder Woman, and we
Easier
would
to
buy,
justify.
yeah, and we bought Pops for a little bit, and then
Okay.
we kind of got tired of that. Like, these are stupid, so we just ended up like getting the holiday theme, like the Home Alone Pop for Christmas stuff, and then we got Halloween stuff like whatever, Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers Pops to decorate our house when we decorate. But then, yeah, she started noticing that every once in a while she would beat me home or beat me to the mailbox, and there'd be a package in there. And she's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it's like, my collection that I already have from GI Joe from my childhood." I was like, I'm getting back into it. It's 2018, getting back into it. And she's like, all right. She buys a lot of earrings. I bought Joe's.
So was it a problem?
No, it wasn't a problem at all. No.
Okay, I know it's not a problem for you.
No, she actually she would go to so we didn't go to any toy conventions up at this point in time. So 2016 to 2020, we lived in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
And weren't really there was a few shops around there, but I always missed out on the DFW toy show. We were usually in Florida vacationing during that time.
All right.
So it wasn't until we moved down to I'm in kind of in between San Antonio and Austin here now. So in the city of New Braunfels, they do I forgot what it's called, but every January they put this thing together, and it's almost, if anyone's been to the DFW toy show, it's almost that size. And that was the first time I was able to meet Larry Hama and Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay.
And she's standing there beside me, and at this time we're married, right? So she's standing beside me as I'm getting my pictures taken with Sarge, and he's putting me in the Cobra Clutch, and we're doing all that stuff. Took like, I don't know how many pictures, and he was, he just kept going and going. I was like, cool. And then got my T-shirt, got my little coin, and got my picture that he signed. And then she's like, Sarge was all about my wife. He's like, you get in here right now. So got all those she got all those pictures with him as well. Didn't have to pay for that.
His manager was not happy. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
Paul was not happy about it.
Oh, Sarge.
So you guys go to shows and everything, and now you said around 2018, you're starting to add to your collection.
Yeah.
So how bad does it get?
So I tell myself, start seeing stuff pop up on Instagram, and I see some of these accounts on Instagram, like showing Joe's for sale. It's like, I didn't know you could buy stuff on Instagram. Interesting. Okay. Because at the time I'm like, why is this in my feed? This is my personal account. What algorithm is tripping these into my feed? And it's probably linked to something else on my phone that I look up. Like I would always look up artwork or card art or stuff from GI Joe at the time.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, that's probably why. And then that was just kind of the inkling to get back into it. And I'm like, you know what? I think I want to start getting back into GI Joe. I'm and I'm also starting to watch stuff on YouTube. So I think one of my first accounts that really pulled me in was I always get his last name wrong. Michael Mercy.
Okay, I know I've actually never watched anything from Michael Mercy, but I do know who he is.
And so he does those, the history of 82, the history of 83, and he does it really well.
I've heard.
And I'm like, And I was like, wow, this is really sucking me in back. It's just bringing me back to 1983 again. I was like, all right, I was like, here's a short fuse, which was my first figure as a Joe in 82 or 83. I was like, this is going to be my first one that I collect, that I start getting back into this, and complete with visor and everything. I think it was only like $20 too. I was like,
oh man, when I bought some of that stuff 6-7 years ago, I'm like, you look at the prices now and you're like,
damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wow, like what the hell was I thinking? I should have bought.
Damn tariffs.
That's the reason why
so I started with him, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get the ones I never got. And
now, do you still have your old stuff?
I have my original 86 Joes and Cobras and 87s that I had. I didn't have like every single one. I almost had a complete 86 line back then. So I have now it's complete.
86 would be
like mainframe.
Okay. I'm looking at the Bellomo book. I'm like, can I reach up and grab it and start going
Tone. Yeah. Roadblock version 2. Lifeline.
I might have had a complete collection.
Mine was almost complete. I just didn't I can't remember which one I didn't have, but yeah, all those ones I have now, those are all my originals.
Okay.
And same with 87. And like I still have my original Night Raven and Conquest, and like that Conquest right here, that's my original. The Tomahawk isn't, you can't see it. That's my original. Still has the blades other way. So I was just going to buy figures. Until I saw,
and you were only going to buy the ones you didn't have, you said.
Yes. And then I was like, you know what?
Possible.
Yeah. I was like, well, I had him. I don't have him now. I don't know what happened to him. So let me buy Duke again.
Well, I mean,
let me buy Gung Ho.
But I mean, in all honesty, what's the use to say I'm going to buy the ones I didn't have if you no longer have the ones you used to have?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, and really quickly, I almost had like all of 83, like within a few months, and I didn't realize it. And my wife comes in, she's like, "Where are you going to store?" Well, she wasn't. We were still dating. Where are you going to store these? I was like, "Well, we got that spare room. Just they're on the shelf right now." And then one day she comes home and there's a couple of vehicles, and it was the Dragonfly, which I had. I just as a kid, but I was like, I want the Dragonfly again because my original Dragonfly just beat to shit. What was that?
It's not a small vehicle. That takes up space.
Dragonfly? Yeah, it does. It's just long. That's what she said. But
yeah,
it's not like bulky like the Tomahawk.
True.
And then it was a 3-pack sale on Instagram. It was the Wolverine, the Tomahawk, and I want to say that the Hiss, because my original Hiss only, yeah. That's right, Bob. But so I got those 3 vehicles. I never had the Wolverine, so that was pretty cool. Actually had that tow rope with it on it. And the Hiss I got because my original Hiss I still have. It is just beat to high holy hell. And plus, when I was a kid, after I was done playing with Joe's, I got into models. Like building models and stuff, like when I was junior high-ish. That's kind of what I did when I got out. I didn't consider that playing or anything like that. That was more.
It's still collecting, and it's still it's a hobby. It's still a hobby.
It was a hobby. Yeah. So I started painting a lot of my toys to practice on. And the hiss was one of my test subjects for it. It's still like I started chipping away at it earlier this year. There's 3 or 4 different coats of like Testors enamel, the hard stuff. You know, they didn't make acrylic Tester paint back then, so that stuff was hard. Nice, good old acetone to take that off.
So do you think it would have been cheaper to have practiced on model cars or on the hiss?
At the time, I didn't know any better.
That's not what I asked. I said, do you think
Model cars would have been a lot cheaper,
you could have just bought
or even the back of a cardboard box?
Well, there's that. Do you have that hiss? No, was I can only imagine how.
I still have that hiss. It looks like it's yeah. I need to do a picture of that hiss with blowtorch because it looks like it's been burned. Because it's
see that, yeah.
It really does, because even the canopy's been painted, and it's
And what did you call him?
Blowtorch?
You mean war crime?
Oh, war crime.
If Viper Scout is listening right now, he's going to make a comment. All right, so your idea is I'm only going to pick up the figures
Yep.
that I didn't have. And then you realize, well, I don't have Duke anymore or Gung Ho, so I should get those too. Which is logical thinking, because you can't say you have a complete line by saying, well, I used to have the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that doesn't really count. So I see.
Yep.
I saw the flaw in your original logic.
Hmm.
So now, is this where your wife is starting to get aggravated, or?
No, she was just worried about space.
Okay.
She was worried about space, and then one day she comes home, and I on my way home from my cigar place I go to when I was living in Fort Worth, there's a toy store called Empire Toys. I think they're only online now in Fort Worth, but they had a really cool place, and they had the whale, and it was almost complete, very reasonable price. And it came home with me that day because I never had the whale, and I saw it in there, and I looked it over, walked around the store, looked at it again, looked at some figures. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And then I forgot to bring it out of the garage, and then she backs her car in, and she gets out. She sees it sitting there on the bench.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she hit it.
Oh, yeah, that would have been devastating. And she was like, what is that? And I had to tell a white lie. I told her, I was like, that's one from my childhood, and I'm getting it out to clean it. Yep.
Did she believe you?
Yeah, she did.
Oh.
But as more toys entered my house, I basically wouldn't tell that lie anymore, because I can only say that lie once. I can't keep saying, I'm like, oh, I'm getting it out to clean it. I'm getting this one out to clean it.
No.
Oh, here's the tactical battle platform. Yeah, it's sitting in a tub of Simple Green because I got to clean it.
See, I had a buddy that he was a Star Wars guy, and he would have everything sent to his work. And I do him one day. I go, how do you tell your wife? And he goes, you see my collection? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I just tell her like, oh yeah, this was something I had in storage. I wanted to bring it out. And I'm like, and she believes that? He's like, you've seen how much stuff I have, right? That's stored. I was like, yeah, you wouldn't even question it, because he had so much stuff that it wouldn't matter. Like, you'd pull it out and just be like, oh yeah, this is something I wanted to pull out. Like he ordered a big Jabba the Hutt. I'm like, how did you justify that? And he's like, I just told her it was in storage. All right, well, I guess I kind of believe it.
Yeah, the best thing to do is, hey, be honest with it, because that lie is just going to keep getting deeper and deeper
They're
as we
divorced now.
buy more stuff.
Yeah, they're divorced now, so
And so I had to, so I was getting so much stuff, and then we were selling the house, so I had to pack it all up because we were moving down here to Austin, and she got a promotion down here. So it took a while for the house to sell, and I had yet to be transferred in my job. I was still waiting on that. So I would drive down there on the weekends. So during my, basically I was just in my house with a couch, and a TV, basically, like, living like I don't know, some guy, that dropped out of college and working for peanuts or something. But I still had a lot of my Joe stuff and all those Star Wars stuff, all those Star Wars toys that I had collected in the 90s into the early 2000s. And there was a toy store in Fort Worth. There's 3 locations, Retro Madness DFW or something like that. And 2 of the locations had a flag. So I was like, do you guys take trades?
there's a flag behind you, right?
There is a flag behind me. Yes, sir. So, I had like 4 or 5 totes, like these big totes of carded Power of the Force all the way up to 2008, whatever they called that line of Star Wars toys. Everything was carded. And then on top of that, the vehicles that I had, Shuttle Tydirian, the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing, the Dagobah X-Wing, and a bunch of stuff, B-Wing, A-Wing, all that stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to load this up, take it to the toy store, and see what they can do with it. And I did. And they're like, you're going to have to give us a couple of days. I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. 3 days later, they gave me a call. They're like, does this amount seem fair? I was like, for store credit? I was like, yes. And they're like, okay. I was like, so how does that work? He's like, well, the store credit works at any 3 of our locations. I was like, oh, that's cool. And basically your name is just on a spreadsheet that they share, like a shared drive,
Okay.
and the amount. So I go in there one day and I was like, one, to get my totes back. And I was
that wasn't in the deal.
yeah, no, we needed the totes.
We're moving. We're moving. We need the damn totes.
It's like, I'm going to need it because he was like, what do you have in mind? I was like, this guy right here. I didn't pay one single dime for that. Just a trade. And I had a very hefty amount still left over from that in my store credit. So I ended up getting like, later on, I got the Joe headquarters, handful of figures. And then I moved and I still had credit. And there's a guy that lives up there that he collects Joe. I met him on Instagram. We hung out a few times and I was like, hey, dude, use my name when you go into that store. I have like, I think $75 of store credit left. It's yours. So happy hunting.
All right. So question, if you don't mind, what year was this?
2020, November.
Okay. Is that complete?
No, it doesn't have the walkie.
Okay.
And it doesn't have the rail in the back. The little tiny thing, which I don't care.
I didn't realize how expensive it was. So someone pointed it out, and mine had never come off of mine.
And never will.
No.
You put a fence around the back end of your flag. Don't get near it. The only other thing it's missing is on top, the big mass part.
Yep.
Which I'm fine with 3D printed stuff. I'm not a completist.
If it's for you, if it's for me, I don't care because I'm not selling it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't mind it being not a knockoff, but I don't mind. What do you call that?
It's for your collection. It's for you to look at.
Like I don't need a baton for my Sergeant Slaughter. If it's a 3D printed little baton, fine. I'm fine with that.
I 3D printed all the missiles for my for my Sky Striker. And first off, they look better because of the shiny black. But then I don't have to worry about them getting worn and breaking. And if they break, it's no big deal. They're 3D printed. I go print another one.
Yeah.
I'm not selling it like that. So do you mind me asking in 2020 how much that was?
This was 900.
Okay. Isn't that crazy? It's
They had
more
another.
now.
They had another one at another store that was 1,100 and it was dirtier. Like the deck was very grimy and the stickers weren't anywhere near as nice. And I'm like, you're selling this for 1,100? No, this one's cleaner and it's, pretty much intact. So yeah. And stupid me, when I finally packed up and left the house, and everything else was going to go to junk, I forgot. And the little tiny thing that goes in between here in the bottom.
I was going to say that's missing.
Yeah, that's missing. I had it, but I left it at the house.
That is one of the most annoying things too, because it's not straight. It's all wavy.
Yeah.
I don't even think it. Well, I raised mine, so I might have mine on there. Because
I eventually will.
Yeah, I did a whole video on how to do it because no one there's no videos on how to do it, and I just used 2x6s to raise it up higher because there's no storage underneath it, which sucks. And I did a whole video on how to do it. It was before I ever got monetized or anything. And I remember my ex coming over. I think she was picking up the kids or something. And my stepdaughter was with her. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm tracing this and I'm painting it." I think I realized why we're not together. One of us found that very amusing. The other one, not so much.
Yeah.
But you have to raise it because you need the storage because the thing is so fucking big.
Yeah. It's sitting on this display case I have here, which I just got. Okay. So at my local, so down in San Marcos, Texas, there's a cigar lounge I go to daily. And they were wanting to get rid of this. And it's 8 feet long. It's been in that store for 40 plus years. So it itself is vintage. And I do have to say now, my upstairs, which it's just one room, but it smells like a cigar store now. And I've cleaned it, but it's fine.
Your flag, it smells like
it's all good. But
so the animals that I keep seeing walk back and forth.
Yeah, that's funny thing. That's an actual mirror in the back of the display case.
That's kind of what I figured.
Walking in front of me.
That's what I kind of figured. That's probably what it was. I just think it's fun to watch it.
Yeah.
So you were able to get a flag. Now you have to explain to your wife what you got. Now you traded some. You said the Shuttle Tidarium, which is a pretty big piece. And you talked about trading some other stuff. But all that stuff can be stored places and moved around. That thing,
you gotta know how to pack it, and it takes 2 different totes.
At least.
And then the platform itself, the landing deck, sits flat. And you got a big trunk. It travels well.
But when you get it to display it,
right?
Again, people go, "Wow, that thing's it's 7.5 feet long."
Yep.
But no one takes in. No, I never hear anyone take into consideration that it's about 3 feet wide.
Yeah, and
and then the height of it is, if you have the mass, about 3 feet high.
Yep.
It's huge.
Yeah, and this I thought was going to be wide enough, which it is, but I was thinking I was going to be able to display the hovercraft next to it. No, there's no room left on this thing. It's
I use a door that's what mine's sitting on an old door, and to put the whale next to it,
mhm.
the whale sitting on a tote next to it, which is fine. I can move it around,
Yeah.
and I can store my kids' stuff in the tote. It's where my stepdaughter's stuff is. My ex will come over and she's like, "Where's Emily's stuff at?" I'm like, "Downstairs." All the stuff on top of it. Yeah, let me move it. Don't touch that whale. Just don't touch it. It's
So on your flag, do you have the little pegs in place?
almost all of them. Or are you talking which ones?
The interlocking ones that
Yeah,
I
I
guess
have almost
kinda keep
every
it
single
down.
one of them. I do not have the pins for the
for
superstructure.
yeah, I got so it's so
I
tight
never
you don't
did.
need it.
Yeah, I don't. I think that I think when I got those, I think that my dad threw them away because they were part of the. Uh,
They look like a sprue.
sorry, they were part of the tree that you take them
Yeah.
off. I
Yeah.
don't think I ever had them because I don't ever remember seeing them.
Yeah, it's so
But I
tight
have.
anyway.
Yeah, that's why I never. I mean that's not moving.
So I don't have any of my pins in, and it sits fine, especially with stuff on it.
Yeah,
And it's not going anywhere. So
the only one you really have to worry about is the front of it, because that one tends to bow if it's not connected. But you can go online and pick up some 3D printed ones. Do you have them?
Yeah, I have them.
But
I
it's
just
probably
haven't.
best to pick up some 3D printed ones because then if they break, you go, I don't care. I have one that's cracked
Yeah.
and I'm missing, I think, 2. But
Most
they're all
of
my
them have,
original. I've never bought more.
most of these have that stress that where it's a little wider than the actual plastic was, so that stress mark on it.
Shark Guy says, do you have Keelhaw's Pew, Wes? Only part I'm missing is that I do not.
I
I do
do.
not have the big silver gun.
I do.
I don't have Hawks either.
Which is weird. I had Keel Haul when I was unpacking my Joes when I started collecting again. I had Keel Haul. So I don't know who I got him from and where I got him at. I don't. And I vaguely remember him when I was a kid. So I never saw a flag as a kid. It wasn't sold in any of the stores in Kansas. They're like, you live in Kansas. We're not going to ship the flag there. Everyone's poor.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I never saw it. The first time I saw it was probably 2017. Like,
And I
visually.
say that all the time to people when they want a classified version of the flag, and I go, have you ever seen a flag in real life? And people will snap at me and they'll be like, yeah, I've seen one. I'm like, all right, it's not the craziest thing to ask. A lot of people have never actually seen one, and if they do, they're not really close to it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not, like I mentioned, it's not 7.5 feet long. It's like 3 feet wide and like 3 feet tall. It's massive, and it can't be moved.
No.
Once you set it somewhere, that's where it sits. My dad had the idea, put it on an old door. So if I needed to push it in the basement against the wall, I could. Because if you try and push it on the structure, that thing's gonna break.
Mhm.
Quickly, Daniel Milliken asks, "What's your favorite year for the older Joes? Yours too, Wes. As far as figure collecting,
The older Joes?
Yeah. I think the wave with Gung Ho might be my favorite.
Which one?
Gung Ho is it 83, 84?
83.
Yeah, it's 83.
83. Yeah.
I loved Gung Ho. I like muscular men that show off their chest.
And in the snow.
In this,
His first comic book appearance, even though I'm not a comic know-it-all connoisseur, I think was in the snow when they introduced Snow Job and all the 83 ones. My favorite, I go back and forth all the time.
I don't. Yeah, to me, I don't have one. Like I
My
never.
favorite year is 85. 85 knocked it out of the park. We got so many Cobras. We got the Dreadnoks. We got, Televiper, Eels, Snow Serpent, Crimson Guard, Saymont and Tomax, the Dreadnoks. So big year for Cobra. And then, of course, we got the Flag, but the Joes were great too. And I always like Flint. And the reason why I like Flint is because he was from Wichita, Kansas. Where,
Okay.
So when I read the back of his card as a kid, I'm like, huh, he's actually from Kansas. These people know where Kansas is at.
So I brought up who's your favorite football player.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a Hall of Famer from Wichita, Kansas.
Barry Sanders grew up in Wichita.
Yes.
Yeah.
I assumed you'd say Barry Sanders because he's from there. And you didn't. And I went, okay.
Nope.
Well,
Sorry,
then
man.
I found out you're a Cowboy fan. And
yeah.
I was tempted to end the stream, but I'm like, you know what? The conversation's going pretty good other than this. Again, like,
yep.
For me, again, I never really looked at the series because I had so much stuff, but it was that second wave, Destro and all of them, that we saw the change of not just these military green shirts.
Yeah.
I do love them, but we saw a change. We saw something different. And there was something about Gung Ho. Destro, I always thought was super awesome. And then, you got the swivel arm battle grip. That was the game changer.
Yep.
Giving them swivel, because I'm not going to say no longer. It helped prevent thumb breakage.
Yeah. I would have said they probably would have changed the thumbs anyway, but you never know. They might not have.
Yeah.
But
but they wouldn't have been near. Again, G.I. Joe was innovative because now you could move. And again, we'll get into maybe some other O-ring stuff.
Yeah.
Soon. And what's changed. So you buy this. Is your wife at the time cool with it, or is she just like?
The house we were going to be moving into was going to be built, so we were going into a rental. So I already knew this was just going to be in the garage sitting until we moved into the house that I'm in right now. And it's basically a 1-story, but it has an upstairs, and it's basically just one room. So it's kind of like our media room, and one end, and the other end, I have a couple of arcades, and then I have my Joe stuff. And you can kind of see the baseball bat display cases on the wall over here.
Oh yeah.
Behind the Flag. So, so I had a plan to display the Flag.
Which is smart. If you're like me, where it's like you've had it your whole life, it just goes with you.
Yeah.
And you do think about where. But if you're buying one now as an adult, I think you have to have an idea of like, where is this going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're like, I'm going to buy the Flag today, other than it's not some great deal, like your wife's like, oh yeah, so-and-so has a Flag, they're getting a divorce, they just want it out of the house. But if you're going down to a shop, I hope before you went, you had that tape measure out and you're like, all right, it'll fit right here. Because the other thing that people don't realize, you can't always walk around it. Or you're trying to move it because the wings of the Sky Striker hang off it.
Well, it becomes one-sided. Like I didn't want mine to be up against the wall to where I can't get to the back of the tower, right? I'm able to walk all the way around it and everything. So yeah, you definitely have. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have enough room to at least have it displayed up against the wall, okay, I get it. You're leaving out kind of a little bit of a play feature,
A huge play feature.
to pose and do whatever with the fortunately I don't have that problem.
Yeah, and again, I can understand if you're like, hey, this is my holy grail, this is what I always wanted.
Yep,
But
get it.
You
If
do
you
have to really think about, in my opinion, I don't want stuff that's packed away. I don't want stuff that's packed away. I want to be able to see it. I want other people. I had a buddy that I met here collecting, and he had a whole bunch of his old GI Joes, and he had like the later figures that I never had. And he's like, "Hey, you want these?" I'm like, "What do you want for them?" And he goes, "I've never seen the flag. Let me have me over, and I want to see the flag." I was like, "Cool." And then he's like, "This thing is big." Like, yeah, it's again, like, I can't express it enough.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, "Enough with your damn flag," but I'm just talking about in general the size of it. All right, so you moved down. You said like Austin area.
Mhm.
Okay, so now how is this collecting going? Because now, again, you just said you got a divorce.
Yeah.
So did the collecting have anything to do with that, or was
No.
it?
No. Nope. Had nothing to do with it, thankfully. So yeah. So
So as you are collecting this, recollecting Joe stuff,
mhm.
adding to it, are you starting to collect anything else?
I am pretty much vintage to the core, except when it comes for O-ring. I really only collect GI Joe stuff.
Okay.
Up to a certain point too. So like anything from 82 to 87, I almost have everything. So I'm starting to venture into 88, 89 as far as the figures go. And it's different because I never had that as a kid. I didn't know it existed, so I don't have that tie to it as I did with this stuff. But
This is scary. Mine has to stay in storage locked up from fear of my wife until the ship sinks and I can enjoy my hobby without keeping it in silence. I felt like that when my ex and I, like, we were splitting up. Now she knew all the stuff that I had, but I had bought some. Well, I spent a lot of money at the time. It was like 275 bucks. And honest to God, when I look at how much it's worth now, it's worth well over $1,000. Because it was a friend of mine that was like, "Hey, are you interested in this?" Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Give me a price. Whale was almost complete. Hydrofoil was complete. Tactical battle platform was complete. A complete version 2 Snake Eyes. Way worth more than 200, especially now. Like,
Yeah. It's honestly just got to be upfront with whoever. Like I'm talking to this girl now. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be silent tonight because I'm going to be on the show." She's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm going to be on YouTube. It's no big thing. It's a thing of our hobby." And she's like, "What hobby is it?" I was like, "I collect vintage toys." And so she thought that was cool. She was like, "Well, send me a link. Send me your stuff that you do, send me your stuff." And yeah. So I just got it out of the way so I don't have to freaking just like dodge it anymore. So
and that's one of the craziest things. Like, you start dating someone and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool that you collect." And you're like, "Yep."
yeah.
And then they walk in
who
and
I
they
am.
go,
What
they
the
look around and they go,
I have a playroom.
oh, you collect. And you go, "Yes, I told you." You didn't want to believe the depths that it actually goes to.
Yeah.
But I think in this day and age, it's a little bit different. Like,
it's out there now. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel, it's just, I mean, this just social media in itself, there's,
Yeah. And War Chest jumping in here. No, it
Gotta-
is different. It's different today.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you are a girl, and again, at our age, if you're single, well, aren't you more like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, he spends money on toys rather than getting drunk all the time or chasing chicks? You
Mhm.
know, you would think, but who
Yep.
knows?
Yeah. But yeah, so anything O-ring, so Delta 17 I got into, thankfully they're it's phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
And being able to meet everybody from Delta 17 at Joe Fest was amazing. But even before they came out, I did the Kickstarter of Operation Recall. There you go.
That's the Yeti from Skeletron.
That's cool.
That's the Aaron Roma exclusive because he passed away.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So you would the Operation Recall,
Yeah, Kickstarter Operation Recall and
Offside Longbow.
Call Sign Longbow still waiting.
I can and if you want, I can tell you about that because I had a long talk with the owners.
Man,
It's not not really their fault. It's the plant.
right,
'Cause-
I get it. But and you know what? Their communication is great.
Yes.
I mean, we get not necessarily weekly updates, but I think twice a month. Yeah, I got that.
So this is this,
Mm-hmm.
but this is Skeletron.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why this is Skeletron and not done through Call Sign Longbow. And I talked to Troy and I talked to John about everything. And I kind of feel bad for calling them out and calling out all those Kickstarters that we've been waiting 3 years for, because they don't want to run off with people's money. That's why they're at all the shows, so they can take the brunt and say,
Right.
"We're here for you to yell at."
Yeah.
But I agree, 3+ years, and you're like, dude, I bought 4 O-rings from both of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to have, but I have a completely different understanding of it after talking to them.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll get them.
Yes.
There'll be channels out there that will do what they want to after getting them, but whatever. I'm gonna love them no matter what.
Yeah.
I got heavy armor toys as well. I got the Flight Deck Crew.
I got some of those.
Yep.
I found those at Joe Fest, actually.
What's that? You got them at Joe Fest?
Yeah, some guy had them, and he was selling them at the price of the Kickstarter, like $25, I think, or 17. I don't know, they weren't expensive, and I guess I got some of the other Deck Crew.
Mm-hmm. That's all I wanted out of it was the Deck Crew. Just I was like, finally, somebody made a Deck Crew. So
they're not bad. They got some. They need to adjust some things because all the figures are like this.
Yeah,
like you need to fix the middle there. Like,
yeah, it is weird. The O-rings wrapped around when I took it apart. It's something's different. But yeah, they shipped out additional torsos on a couple. It fixed it, but
mine didn't fix it. And somebody told me, they're like, yeah, that's because of the issue. They just sent out an extra torso, but mine didn't really change anything.
I think it's the way that, if you look at it, if you remember the way the O-ring is wrapped around that T-bar in the legs, that T-bar angle is different than the Joe's T-bar. I'm like, I think I actually tried to take a Joe T-bar, like from 85 or something, and put it in there. It wouldn't fit down into it, so I wasn't going to force it. But
quickly, Jared Jetman says, "Is that how long I'm going to have to wait for the Savage Crucible dungeon? I don't know. I
have
didn't
no
know they did a
idea.
dungeon, but I can tell you this: I backed the Savage Crucible. I backed one when they first came out, and that was well after these, and I already got that. And they fixed the legs, and so Savage Crucible. I don't think you're going to have that issue.
Yeah, most like even heavy armor didn't take that long.
I know.
Maybe they should have.
You said it, not me.
But I mean, you know what? They even called it out themselves before they sent them out. They're like, "Hey, we're delaying it. There's a production issue. It's going to be a couple more months until we want to make sure that these are right." Then they sent them out, and then they said, "We're going to send you some more torsos because it still didn't fix this certain wave that went out first." So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're communicating, "Hey, you know what? It's O-ring toys. I like that stuff. I'm pretty much 3 3/4 inch collector. About the only other thing I'll collect. I have a couple. I got into it. And do you talk about oh my God. You thought they were expensive back in the late 70s, early 80s. The space Lego sets now. Whoo. So I got three sets of those space Lego sets, but I'm pretty much done because that's just too expensive. But it was the 3 I wanted, and they're pretty much complete, and they're so cool.
No, and that's good. That's like there's only these ones you want.
Yeah,
and if you're able to keep yourself from not going them, I have a hard time. If you watch the channel, you may notice I collect a lot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Like the last toy show I was at, there wasn't really anything, Joe. I walked by a modern Python Patrol Conquest that had the modern Viper sitting.
Yeah,
that came with it. It was fully boxed for $40. I was like, I guess that's a pretty decent price. I figured it'd be more. It's in a box. I was like, and I just walked in. I was like, let me make a lap and see what else is here. By the time I got back around, it was in somebody's hands. I was like, son of a bitch. Oh, well, wasn't meant to be. But as I was walking out, I saw a helicopter I had as a kid, and it was made by Ertl. So it was that hard. I don't think it was metal. Might have been metal, but
I know what you're talking about.
And it was yellow, and the A-Team toy line had a version of it, but it was red. This one's yellow, and it has Wrangler, like Wrangler jeans, the brand, on the side of it. I got that for Christmas in 1983, and I saw that sitting on top of this guy's booth at this toy show. I was like, I have to go get that. It has the blades and everything, and it's 1/18 scale size. Yeah, I was like, man, that brought back a lot of memories.
So Daniel is asking, I believe, about the Lego set. It has nothing to do with Joe's. It was just a space Lego set you had as a kid.
Yep, 1979, probably to 1981 space Legos, vintage. If you look that up, you'll know what I'm talking about. They reintroduced the Galaxy Explorer a couple of years ago. It's like massive compared to the original. And yeah, I missed out on that. It's still available. I just haven't brought myself to pay for it yet.
All right. So you are a vintage guy.
Yeah.
But you like O-ring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Super 7. Do you pick any of it up?
I have a few. I got a few. I don't when like yesterday was it when that came out with the next wave with Mara and another Snake Eyes. Hold the phone. He glows.
Well, if he glows anything like the reaction one that came with the blind woodsman, it sucks because that thing hardly glows. I know because I have it.
See, I just Super. I pick and choose my battles with Super 7.
All right. So let me ask you this:
Mhm.
Will you pre-order anything from Super 7, or do you have to see it first?
I got to see it first. I'm not pre-ordering any more stuff.
I
from
was
them.
so excited for the twins when I saw them at Joe Fest 24. They weren't painted yet, and then I saw them go up for order, and I'm like, something just doesn't look right. And I could not get myself to pull the trigger on $25 or $50 for these two figures. I'm like, something doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been. If I see it on clearance, I'll buy it for, $10 if it looks decent enough.
I picked up the latest Destro in the winter coat. He looks good.
Too.
He's good.
Except
I passed on Big Lob. Well, that's one reason why I passed on Big Lob. One, I couldn't stand him in the cartoon movie. I was like, he was very corny, very, very cartoonish. He should have been on the Muppet Babies and not the G.I. Joe team. But yes, his arms, there's just no definition in what Super 7 does. That's my only.
Always the O-ring always had some sort of definition to it.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm fine with Destro because he's in a coat. Okay. Cobra Commander, he doesn't need definition. He never had muscles when he was Joe or Cobra, the originals. The Scarlet, this Arctic Scarlet, I'll have to wait.
Because I'm sorry, CoverGirl has dead eyes, and I refuse. I'm not buying Dead Eye Scarlet. I mean, Dead Eye CoverGirl. I did buy Pythona, and I don't even like Cobra Law, but I'm like, you know what?
I did too.
And it forced me.
That was the only two I got.
Yeah, it forced me to fix my. It forced me to fix my Globulus because he's been broken for years because the rubber insert on his tail broke. So I was like, how can I fix it? I took a screw, I screwed it down, clamped them together. I'd say perfect, but not perfect because he doesn't bend all that well.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I don't have Nemesis Enforcer. I thought I had the three of them still. I only have the Royal Guard.
What's crazy in the 87 catalog, when they show Cobra Law, Globulus doesn't have a tail. The pre-production picture that they have of that figure, it's completely different. It would have been so much better if it was that.
What did it have?
It was basically more of just a stand. He was more in a sack. It wasn't the big ball, but it was just in a tan sack. Looked like it had no tail. So yeah, it was much better. And the facial pre-production face was even better too.
So Daniel says, is the built to rule Lego figures allowed do they compare to the older O-rings? Is that the G.I. Joe Legos that you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I have one.
I passed on those so hard.
I have one. I don't think those were Lego though. They're compatible with Lego.
Yeah,
I don't think
I forgot
Lego
what the company
ever got
was.
a G.I. Joe license. I have the Roadblock, or the Rock and Roll. I mean, he has like a little helicopter. Now the helicopter is completely gone. I don't know if they're compatible with regular O-rings because everything is so different. They're.
Mm-hmm.
I only had the one.
So you talking about the ones that were recently released, like with the Sky Striker, the Hiss, the.
I don't know. Are you talking about the Dollar General ones? Because those ones were really cheap. But there were some Lego O-rings They weren't Lego. I just
Yeah.
don't think they were Lego.
They have O-rings though? Were they O-rings or were they the size of like the Legos? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I don't know.
I don't know. Someone in here will be able. Viper Scout can tell you. This one
Yeah.
here, Viper Scout. There's two
Hero
Creole and
or
Buffalo.
Creo. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was called.
But no, they had a whole Creole thing.
Yeah.
They were like Legos, but then they actually made O-ring versions. And there's a couple vehicles, and Rock and Roll was one of them. And I got them. And so, like, you could put the gun on his arm because he has like two little pegs there. I don't know. They're kind of
What's-
weird. I don't even know how I end up with one.
BTR. What's that?
Built-
Lego and
Built to
Built to-
roll.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why that even came. I think it's built to roll. Something like that. Again, if anyone's gonna know, it's gonna be Viper Scout. Hey, look, I got it right. It was during Spy Troops. Yeah, I actually got it right. I don't know why that, because I'm picturing, because I actually still have the box in a bin downstairs. Anyway, so you like the O-ring, you backed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You like the Delta 17. Now, wrist swivel, it changes everything. Do you not agree?
If it's done right, yes.
You can actually pose a figure in a shooting position.
Yeah. Delta 17 did a great job on their wrist swivel.
Yes.
Like let's compare it to why am I forgetting the name? The Deck Crew. What was that? We just talked about it.
I always forget.
Heavy Armor Toys.
Yes.
The wrist swivel is a little weird, and they can't hold the weapons right. I don't know. It's just a little off.
Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't.
You have to work on it really for a longer time than I want to. You know,
Delta
and
17, like and they made a mistake with the T-bar. They went and fixed it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
and their quality control is good too. I'm honestly, Heavy Armor did the same thing when they sent out the torsos and they admitted to it. If Hasbro sent this stuff out, are they going to honor it? No. Are they going to send you a replacement?
Well, Hasbro,
if they screw up on a classified?
Well, Hasbro will they'll replace the figure, or they'll have you send it back and give you your money back.
Okay.
They do. Will they do what other companies have done, the smaller companies, and send you replacement parts? No, because they'll say they don't have it. Like my Savage Crucible, the one guy fell and his mace broke. And I reached out, I said, hey, do you have any accessories that I could purchase? They said, hey, send us a picture. They sent me out a new mace. Didn't make me pay for it. You're not going to get that from Hasbro. And it was my own fault. He fell from the shelf, and I told them that.
Yeah.
And so he was cool, and he sent it out.
Yeah.
But he also yelled at me at Joe Fest about throwing the figures, and we had a discussion how I didn't throw the figure. That's a whole nother. we've made amends since then.
I like how on Delta 17, and I'm not going to know the figures because they're still new.
Yeah.
But the robots, the way they can actually interact, I mean, you could put the gun on the arm. It's like the bat, but they took that idea and just made it even better. And the fact that those parts actually intermatch.
Yes. Which is why didn't Super 7? How frustrating is that? Like, you have the license. Yes.
Tunnel vision.
And you get that accessory pack. For
they would have charged $35 for a figure then.
Yeah, that's true. You get the weapons pack from Delta 17, and you're gonna get, I think, 2 blades. So if you're missing accessory on one of your bats, he can have a bat. He can have a blade. I don't think it comes with a gun though. But it was done on purpose. Like, wow, go figure. Why not make it? Yeah. So let me ask you. You said you're only vintage. Why not classified?
So I tried classified when it first came out.
Okay.
And I got Duke, Snake Eyes, what the 2 roadblocks. Hey, we're coming out with a second block already. And I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy handling them. They were clunky to me as far, it was weird. And that nostalgic that would pull me to the vintage stuff wasn't pulling me towards this. And on top of that, it was too hard to find any of them, especially Target exclusive, like the Cobra Trooper, or was it the Officer, or the and the Baroness. And so anything that was Target exclusive back then was really hard to find. And I'm like, I don't have this time to, and this energy for this, and I'm not even all that into it. So I don't know, I bought maybe up until, like, I got the breaker with the Ram, and I never even took them out of the box. I think my last one was a Viper, Major Blood, and Zartan.
Okay.
And they never saw the light of day. And so one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to take all these out, pose them. No, it's not for me. I even backed the Hiss, and it was in between that time frame from the time that it funded until it shipped. Before it shipped, I was like, I'm just going to sell it when it gets here, because I don't even want to, like, well, maybe it can be a mega tank to my 3 3/4.
Yeah,
it's way too big.
Yeah.
There was that part on the 85 miniseries before season 2 came out. Copa Commander was in a Hiss tank, and it had like 2 turrets going front and back. It was massive. I was like, well, that could be it. But yeah, this thing would have been way too big.
That's the type of thing Super 7 should make, because
right,
made. And that's what they said they're going to do, and we'll see.
We're still waiting. But yeah, so I basically took all my classifieds, put them back in the box like I never took them out. Went up to Bat City Toys in Austin here and traded them in, and picked up the Crusader.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Crusader and the Buzzbore. Never had a Buzzbore. I asked him, I was like, "Can you throw in the Buzzbore?" He's like, "I'll take $10 off." I was like, all right.
I'm not saying nothing. You couldn't throw in the damn Buzzbore.
I know,
for all that stuff. Again, like, I don't care. Like if it doesn't, I love the classified line. I absolutely love it. I don't understand why there are certain people that feel, and it's the whole community, that I'm an O-ring guy and I hate the classified, or vice versa.
I don't.
No, and I'm not saying you do, but like,
yeah,
I see people talk about classified, and someone says how, I wish they still make some of the O-ring, and they will jump down their throat, and it's like, O-ring's done, and it's like, okay, first off, O-ring isn't done, but it is a much smaller. There's a much smaller.
Maybe with Hasbro.
Well, yeah, but there's a much smaller fan base for it, right? And I've heard people talk about how, like, well, if Hasbro would put their money into it, it'd be just as popular as classified. I'm like, no, it's not, because it's adult collectors, and the majority of adult collectors, you just look at Marvel Legends and look at Black Series, right? We're doing photography. We have bad eyes. Our hands are locked up. It's easier. And it's like, there was a time for the O-ring to dominate. Mm-hmm. It's no longer here, but it doesn't mean there's not a place for it.
Right.
And I think you see that with Delta 17. You see that with what Carson is trying to do with Operation Recall and Call Sign Longbow, right? And there's a whole bunch of different,
Yeah.
O-ring.
Rise of Nexus.
Yeah, which I
Um,
have right here that I still haven't. I talked to the guy this weekend too.
Matthew Leekroy, Leekroy's Toys,
Yeah.
does, I got a Axel Foley figure O-ring.
Yes, he has all.
So
He did
cool.
all kinds. Yep.
But no, it's not. Yeah, I don't look. All the accounts I follow out there that do photography with the 6-inch, fantastic. Joe's Oscar Mike, one of the guys on Instagram, fantastic series that he does with his 6-inch stuff. And Wreck Ship takes some really great photos with his tiki bar. And but yeah, no, I'm all for it. That's your passion and they're doing it right. So
And that's, again, I'll say it again, I don't understand why people feel like both I don't want to say lines, because really Hasbro is not doing O-ring figures for G.I. Joe. They seem to do it for other things. And even the G.I. Joe stuff, Transformer crossover, it seems like that is done on the Transformer side, not on the Joe side. But it's like, there's room for everything just right now. And it looks like for the foreseeable future, the 6-inch line, the 1/12 scale is what's going to be the dominant thing. There's still a place for 12-inch figures. It's not huge, but it's still there. And there's no one to say that it's never going to come back around.
Yeah.
But people just try and force it, and they get so mad about it. And it's like, you just don't have to buy it.
Right. I mean, yeah, buy what you want. Like you said, the 12-inch, the DFW toy show, I went there for the first time this year, but years past when I lived up there, I would talk to a few that would go, and it was mostly a 12-inch show. You see a lot of, I saw more 12-inch at DFW than I did Joe Fest.
Yeah.
And a lot, but there was a lot of, just 6-inch and O-ring stuff there too. But there's still there's a lot of vintage 12-inch Action Man and, the flocked beard Joes there at DFW. So there's still a collectors out there for that.
But I mean, again, even though this is the world of YouTube and social media, there's a lot of 12-inch before that hated the O-ring. They don't, again, it was like, oh, they've come into our space. They've taken away from what we can, get. It's like, other people are still making the stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, learn how to sew, and you can sew your own little clothes.
It's like, and it wasn't even the second year. The first wave of the Star Wars figures came out, and then they introduced a 12-inch line. You got a 12-inch Stormtrooper. All I wanted that Stormtrooper for was this gun, so I can actually have a toy gun, blaster to run around with, because those guns were kind of big, especially Chewbacca's, but I didn't want those 12-inch dolls. So
Matthew really when Matthew talks about DFW, when someone
that's where I met Matt at, was DFW. So
yeah. So when someone insults your sports team, you know how they get? That's how Matthew takes DFW personally. He takes it personally that we're insulting his team. There was probably more 12-inch stuff at Joe Fest just because it's that much larger. But
DFW did have to go to a new convention center this year. They did move from Grapevine to Irving because it had grown. I actually thought, I was like, they need something bigger than what they had.
Yeah, I can see that. And Joe Fest is the same thing. I don't want them to move. And he's outgrowing that place. And I'm like, I don't want to move, because that hotel just allows us to hang out in that lobby and not care. And for me, it's not about what I can find on the floor. I find
Yeah.
everything on Friday. It's about hanging out with my friends,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And again, we'll go, if they move, that we'll probably all follow it but for me, I've been I would say over 50% of it is hanging out with guys that we're only going to see once a year, maybe twice a year. If, I go to like, assembly required or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy what this hobby's done for people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That was a great week going to Joe Fest. And then I drive back. It's a 2-day trip, 16 and a half hour drive. And then I drive up to DFW, which is a 3.5 hour. It's 4 hours now because of the interstate,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a wild 2 weeks with 2 shows back to back.
Are you planning on going to Joe Fest this year?
Yeah, I already got my room booked.
So, will you really not be there, Joe fan? Because Tony, myself, and Ed will still think that you're there.
Got my shirt on so you guys won't.
You're gonna have to get a Joe fan 84 shirt.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you're not into classified scale. You don't do any. You don't do any like Marvel Legends or anything like that.
No.
Which, again, financially, probably the right move. What about YouTube? What are you doing on YouTube and social media?
So I've had my Instagram account since 2019, and basically all I do is just either take pictures in front of a coffee mug in the morning, doing my cup of Joe with the Joe hashtag, or just anytime I can have free time to get out some figures and pose with them and stuff to just take some pictures, I'll do that. Definitely, it's always a place to follow all of us. And I just started doing YouTube at the very beginning of the year. Now that I have more time by myself, I've been able to actually, like, my first video I did like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I want to do videos. I just don't know really if I have it or not, but I'm just going to do it. And I did one, and then I never got back to it because I travel for work. I'm on the road.
Okay.
Then I was really traveling a lot. Now it's I'm finding to where I can just call an email rather than get on the road. And if I am on the road, it's just local for the most part. But so got into more doing videos on YouTube this year. And I started basically did a whole series of just the catalogs that we would get when we bought a vehicle or a play set back in the day. So I did a review for each year, 82 through 94. I had all my catalogs. I didn't have 82. I had to go and purchase one. Can't remember where I got it from. Found a 83 at a toy store. I had an 84, 85, 86, 87. Had all those from my childhood. And then went and got some more catalogs for the rest of the years. The only one I couldn't find was 94. 94 was a hard one to, like, seriously, I could not find it anywhere. And if I did, it probably wasn't a reasonable price because it wasn't much of a catalog. So I just did a screenshot on 3djoes.com.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Carson and Metaxas. And so yeah, I would just do a review and just walk through. Not a review; it's more of a look through. And surprisingly, just how it would bring back memories looking through those catalogs when you got them as a kid, pulling them out of a box. Was that the first thing you would look at before you got to the vehicle because it's telling you what you're getting the rest of that year, if you got it early in the year. So it's really cool to see the pre-production stuff in all those catalogs that we actually didn't get. Like same
You got
same
me,
on
like, you got me thinking now. Like, did I now I'm thinking about like opening a vehicle. And yeah, I think you looked at everything.
Mhm.
Now, no, maybe if you have a second or third vehicle, you might not because you've already seen it.
You want to
But
see
you're
if
right, like,
if it's a new version of a catalog. I always like
yeah,
maybe it's a new one, maybe they'll have something. No, it's the same.
but you're right. Like if you open, like you get that first new vehicle and you're pulling that out because now you're looking at what you might not have seen at the store, and then you might be looking at what you're mad that why I wanted to get that. Why didn't like? I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You got me thinking of it. Sorry, I'm just.
No, it's all good. It's what it's about. So, yeah, I did all those videos. I did a few on the in between while I was waiting on some to get to me. I'm going to be eventually going back to it, but doing just going through the blueprints year by year of the blueprints that I still have from my childhood. I have a lot of blueprints. It's scattered through the years. And there's like, soda stains on them and stuff.
I don't have any of mine.
Oh,
I don't have my file cards. I don't have like all that stuff. I don't have my flag points, which bother me because I had that big 20. I know I never used the 20, and I had them forever, and they're long gone now.
Yeah, it was. I did a video on my flag points because in the video, like I keep not my flag points, my file cards. My file cards. Remember the checkbook boxes we would get when we would order checks, and they would come in a little box. So that's how I store my file cards to this day from a box that probably was from my dad's checking account. And so it's like a 38-year-old box. But yeah, I did and in the bottom of one of those boxes is a bunch of flag points. Just there's like a half a flag point when you bought the accessories. And I did send off one time to, because there's like the Manta was only available mail away. And then later in the years, like in 86, here's a fold out pamphlet that also came with a vehicle you purchased along with the catalog. But it's either live your adventure or whatever. But in that catalog, there's stuff where you can like, oh, I can order Duke and he's not available in stores anymore, or I can order, whatever. So I ended up ordering the Asp one year because I really wanted that for some reason. I think like there was a hovercraft in 93 that you could send away flag points and still pay $39 for. I was like, you want no, I'm sorry. If you didn't have flag points, it was $33, and they're going to ship you a hovercraft, the whale. So, and the funny thing is on that, they didn't ship it in the box that it came with because they didn't come with figures when you ordered that stuff then.
Okay.
It didn't come with the figure. If there was a figure when it first was released, it didn't come with that figure. It was they shipped it to you in a cardboard box. So you didn't get the box art or anything.
And I gotta say this, like what you're doing is something unique. And that's what I tell everyone when they're doing YouTube. Don't copy everyone else. Don't copy what someone else does.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will think like, oh, you just don't want people doing reviews because you do reviews. I don't care. I mean, if you want to do them, just don't copy what I do. Don't copy what Bobby B does. Like, put your spin on it.
Yep.
And if you're able to find something that is unique, like what you're doing, that you thought outside of the box, and you probably thought, who the hell really cares? Who the hell really cares about going through this?
Yeah.
It's the same concept of like, well, who really cares about a talk show, a YouTube talk show about people that might be in your chat? I want to see, the big YouTuber that you're bringing on. Like, exact same thing. Like,
yeah.
having a conversation. You found something that people aren't doing, ran with it, and now if someone does it, everyone's gonna go like, Joe Hunter already did that. Like,
Yeah.
But you put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do with everything.
And then I also like to, like, on live shows, we always call out, big thanks to the chat and everything like that. So one thing I do on my videos, they're not live, but what I'll do is I will take a screen recording of the comments from my previous video and give them shout outs and basically whatever comments they left in there with whatever memories. Hey, yeah, I had this and whatever. So I just, I'll take a screen recording and read through the comments. So just to basically say thank you for watching and leaving a comment.
No, like I say, that's something I don't think I've ever seen anyone do. And you may have seen someone else that did something similar. I said before, like I do the whole special guest, and I'm still waiting for a skateboarder to be like, hey, Chris Roberts does that with the 9 Club for skateboarding. And I said before, like, I just stole it from him. But I'm also not doing it in the skateboarding. I'm not doing it in the skateboarding realm, because then you're just,
yeah.
But yeah, like you found something, and that's actually pretty cool. Like going through and like reading some of the comments that people and putting it in your video.
Mhm.
People love that. People love to see their name up on things, and they'll sit through something and they'll sit here and watch it.
Yeah.
I started after my shows, I started highlighting everyone that said goodbye as the outro was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing it, and it wasn't something, but then people started talking about how much they love it. And then I'm like, I got to keep doing this because people are waiting. They're sticking around for it.
Yep.
So no matter how bad you have to pee, you're going to stick around for 2 minutes. And I can tell you, it's really bad right now.
Yep. Yep. It's burning, and my dog knows it too. It's burning for him.
So tell everyone where they can find you and what you have coming up next.
So Joe Hunter at Joe Hunt. Instagram is, I believe, at Joe_Hunter73.
It's in the description.
Okay. And then YouTube at Joe Hunter 73. What I have coming up, first video was just came out yesterday. Today's Thursday. Came out yesterday. I'm working on the next one. So I am going back through. This is not G.I. Joe related, but it is toys, and it is toys from our childhood. So this time of year, what would happen was my parents would then basically around Thanksgiving bring me a JCPenney catalog or a Sears catalog. And these are the yellow page size, right? And it was the Christmas catalog, even Montgomery Ward. And there's a website I use.
Oh, I love Monkey Ward.
And I basically Monkey Ward. And I basically am just going through the pages of, not all the pages, but of all the toys from 77, 76. And I'm working my way up basically until I run out and when it's Christmas time. And just going through, looking at the prices, thinking, and you're going to see this, and you're going to be walking through on these videos with me, and all of a sudden you're going to remember, holy shit, I had that. Like, you haven't thought about it since you've had it. It wasn't like one of your main toys you had. And I came upon this on one of them, and I'm like, I had that because I remember the way that looked, and I had that track. I was like, son of a bitch, that's cool. So yeah.
I love that. I love that idea, because you're right. Like anytime, like you'd get the, like, if you saw someone had the book, or you're flipping through one of those pages, and usually it's like a G.I. Joe thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then you see something at the bottom, and you're like, oh my God, I had that. To go through the whole book, page by page by page, or even see like, oh my God, my sister had that, like
exactly.
It's those little things. And again, that's what this whole, again.
And I do mention that. I was like, hey, it's not just what we had. It's what if we had a sibling, a brother or sister. Like one year, my sister got the entire Barbie house and the RV. And I'm like, that thing was cool, even if it was Barbie. That thing was huge.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And again, it might be something that was just in your house. It might be something you loathed, right? But there's a lot of things that we hated as kids that now we look back at it in a much fonder memory.
Yeah, there was
Take it back.
on the video that I launched yesterday. They have these alarm clocks for kids. There was a Raggedy Ann and Andy alarm clock, and then a Batman and Robin alarm clock. And I still have that alarm clock, and I took a picture, took a selfie with my alarm clock, and then I put that in with that video to show. I was like, I still have it today. It doesn't work. I would love for that thing to work, because it'll say holy whatever time, it's time, Batman, or something like that. There's a couple of phrases in there. Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
And this is like 77.
It probably sounded nothing like Batman either.
No, it didn't. But if I don't know, there's got to be a way I can somehow find someone to make those circuits work again. But yeah, it's cool though. It's cool just to see stuff. One, the prices, and what else was available. There was some creepy stuff back then. Like they're selling ventriloquist dolls for Christmas. I'm like,
I kind of remember that.
And they also, what's also really cool is like the NFL themes back then in the 70s, Pittsburgh, Dallas, all the stuff. And just, I was like, man, that stuff's cool now. And it was cool back then. But yeah.
No, and like I said, that's super cool. Like you found this niche, and we all bring up the Sears catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I had the JCPenney catalog too. It seems like the Sears one is the one that everyone brings up, but the JCPenney, there was a JCPenney catalog, the Lord and Taylor, like there was stuff in all of them. They might have been a little bit smaller, but Sears was the yellow pages, and then JCPenney was like right behind it.
Yep.
And if you would have told me 15 years ago that Sears would be out of business, but JCPenney wouldn't, I would have said you're full of shit.
Yeah, no.
There's no way in hell JCPenney is going to survive, and it has.
Barely. So, they're hanging on.
They had a revival there for a bit.
Sears basically just came down to basically an appliance company at the end, I think.
And then they bought Kmart.
Yeah.
Which was, believe me, Kmart came from Michigan. I had plenty of fun days. I have plenty of fond memories of going to Kmart on the weekend, sitting in the toy section, going to their cafeteria, sitting, eating with my mom and dad. They had this wonderful, probably wasn't wonderful, but they had the Jell-O, but the wonderful fried chicken. It was all like people left their carts on the outside of this, cafeteria, and then you'd go back to shopping.
Maybe that's where Costco got the idea.
They may have. But it's crazy when you think about and again, this was one of the original Kmarts right down the street. So we'd go there and you're halfway done shopping, and then you go and have lunch, and then you go back to your cart and you finish. It brings back these fond memories. So going through the books, yeah. And I think it would be cool to as you're looking through it, and it's like maybe stuff my sister had or other stuff that your friends had. They're like, oh my God, Joe had that. Like, I cannot believe that he had this. And so great idea.
Thank you.
And hopefully I mean this I hope I don't see other people trying to do it. And if you do, help put your own spin on it. Don't copy something.
There's a guy on Instagram and Twitter. He's been on it for years. Battle Battle Armor Cobra Commander Dad, I think is the account. He
I
does a
don't
lot of that. And I could say that maybe he's inspired me to do videos on that. He'll post pictures of screenshots that he's taken from those catalogs
Yeah.
or whatever. And he's been doing it for years on when Twitter was decent. And you could find the people you follow. So, and he's on, yeah. And then he went over to Instagram and still does it. So, yeah, I kind of got the idea from him, basically just, or her, whoever they are, that, you know, yeah, I want to do a video on that. And I think a few other people have done videos similar to
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah, getting
I just-
inspired by people, getting ideas, but I've
Mhm.
listened to Mr. Beast say there's a guy that literally will copy exactly what I do. There's nothing wrong with seeing something I do. Put your spin on it.
right.
I've already done it. No one wants to see somebody copycat something else.
Make it your own.
Exactly. So, Wes, I want to say thank you so much for. You said 2 hours. We went a little bit over, but like you said, it's a conversation. It's not.
Yep.
me
Doesn't feel like
grilling-
it. Yeah.
that's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want it to feel. I don't want someone to be like, oh my god, like this feels like it's forever.
Just my
It's-
bladder, you know.
Well, yeah, you and me both. All right.
Yeah.
But I do want to say thank you for coming on
thank
here.
Mhm.
Everyone, please check out his channels. I actually had it set up in the description. Hit the like button if you haven't. Head on over there, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to his Instagram. Every time someone gets more subscribers from me, I can take credit for some of their success. I have a huge ego.
You're a little bit of a legend, right?
I'm kind of a big deal.
That's right. That's insane. Yeah. No, but I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciated the invite. That was really cool when you sent that out. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe he just wants to know my name right this time, not Joe Fan 84. Does he make sure that he's getting the right guy on here? But no,
Well,
but yeah, I really
you can
appreciate
do
it.
it-
And I really appreciate everybody in the chat too.
you know what a shock it was when I realized that I messaged the wrong person of who I wanted to have on. It happens. It happens. Anyway, Wes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Check out all his stuff, his lives. When do you go live again?
My next live, I'm always on somebody else's channel. So my next live is going to be either on Joe Arod's channel on Friday night for Uncensored, or I definitely am going to be on Saturday morning with Podcast from the Pit. Our special guest that day is going to be the one and only Joe Torres, the Mexican Griswold.
All right. Well, check
You
him out.
heard of
And
him?
again, you know where to find them. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. I will be back next Monday. I promise you. I can't promise that, but I probably will be. And I can tell everyone about how I've tore down my bar and how great everything went. It probably won't. All right, Wes. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see
Thank
you
you.
guys later. Take care.